Good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock on January 12th. I'm Mark McIntyre, Chairman of the Southampton Village Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. And with me tonight are my fellow board members, Susan Stevenson, Jane Clare, Nina Edward Anker, Kathy Buxton, board member, is absent tonight. We have Quinn Profil in her place as an alternate. Also joining us are Alex Wallach, our planning director, Alice Cooley, our counsel, Jackie's doing recording secretary in the back, and Sage Certain is handling all things videography. Because we have a full board, I'm going to, and we have quorum, I'm going to motion to open the January 12th meeting of the Southampton Village Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Before we begin tonight's agenda, I want to address the topic of the potential expansion of the village's historic districts. As we all know, it's an issue that's been in the paper. It's received significant press attention. It's been discussed in recent trustee meetings. And given that context, it feels appropriate to explain to the public where this process currently stands from this board's perspective. And I'd like to begin with a bit of a brief history. On September 9th, 2022, under then-Mayor Jesse Warren, the village unanimously adopted its comprehensive master plan following an extensive public review and public workshop process. The creation of the plan was overseen by committee chair and then trustee Bill Menger, and it should be noted that a majority of the respondents to the surveys supported increased historic preservation's efforts for older homes. Within the recommendation of the master plan under historic resources is to complete an inventory of historic assets in the village, in the community, and consider expanding the historic districts to incorporate historic resources. By code, the responsibility to do that work falls to the Architecture Review Board. Therefore, the administration requested that the ARB work to conduct the research and to form a recommendation. Now, the review process is lengthy and it includes multiple steps. It includes an initial high-level analysis, which was already underway actually in 2022, conducted by Preservation Studios, for which an initial report was delivered in early 2023. Following a public RFP process, Preservation Studios again conducted a village-wide review outside the existing historic districts to determine if there were areas with historic homes that warranted additional intensive level study. The reconnaissance level survey identified 4 areas for more intensive research, and this next phase required house-by-house analysis. To perform this work, Preservation Studios was again contracted by the village after it applied to the State Historic Preservation Office for a grant to offset the cost of the research, which was rewarded. The grant was received in 2024, and field research was conducted during the spring and summer of 2025, and an initial draft work product of Preservation Studios' opinions and suggestions was delivered to the ARB for review in approximately August of 2025. So where are we now? That's the history of where are we now. The ability for the Architecture Review Board to move forward to its next steps, including holding a public hearing to hear from you, the village residents, is actually dependent on work required by the Board of Trustees, which is not yet complete. There is also a real risk that the Architecture Review Board moving prematurely could trigger a significant, unacceptable, unintended consequence for homeowners, which would be a protracted moratorium on development, which we are being very diligent to avoid as a board, which I will explain in a minute. The shift to move the authority to the Board of Trustees requires a revision to the Southampton Village Code. So Resolution 3 on last week's Board of Trustee meeting noticed a public hearing as part of its February 11th meeting to discuss the proposed code change to effectuate the authority transfer. And this resolution also authorized the village planning director, Alex Wallach, to submit the proposed village code changes to SHPO, the New York State Historic Preservation Office, for comment, which is a state requirement as the Village of Southampton is a certified local government. Only after the proposed code changes are state reviewed and then adopted by the village will the authority rest with the Board of Trustees. So the next step for this board is to have a working session meeting with Preservation Studios. Preservation Studios' role is an expert providing opinions on the viability of areas being looked at to potentially encompass into historic districts. This board, the Board of Architecture Review's role is to review that work and decide whether the information and opinions and methodology we feel are sufficient to recommend expanding on the village's historic and architectural heritage. Therefore, this village will review the methodology and opinions and determine if there are any changes in the information or methodology that the board would like to see in a final draft for use to inform its recommendation to the Board of Trustees. Once the code has been transferred to the trustees and becomes official, the ARB has received an updated final draft from Preservation Studios. This board will review and adopt the Preservation Studios work, which will then become public, and will schedule and conduct a public hearing with this board. After the hearing, this board will determine its recommendation, which will officially deliver to the Board of Trustees along with the adopted version of the work product. It is, and this is important, it's important to be aware that by code, the scheduling of that public hearing with this board will trigger a moratorium on building and demolition permits within the proposed expansion areas until a final determination is made, regardless of the outcome. That is why, right there, beyond working toward completion of the assignment that has been requested by the Board of Trustees of this board, another primary concern has been to minimize the duration of this required moratorium as part of this discussion by holding until the way forward is defined and the authority has been moved to the trustees. Truly, and I mean this, we look forward to hearing from the public, and it's our job to balance the best interests of the village while also understanding the public feedback to formulate a recommendation to the Board of Trustees. We have not formed an opinion yet. Based on current circumstances, here's what we see as the anticipated schedule. At the February 11 Board of Trustee meeting, the proposed code change language to shift authority will be discussed. That language will also set the number of minimum public hearings that will be held as part of the discussions. Should it be adopted, the ARB will then schedule its work session with Preservation Studios for the next meeting at which they can be available, presumably either the following Monday or the next scheduled meeting. And that work session as part of this meeting will be viewable by the public. Once the Preservation Studios delivers its final version of its work to the ARB, we will review and we agree with it. We will review and adopt, release the documents, and schedule the first public hearing meeting as part of which will also trigger the moratorium on development. After the public hearing, this board will consider both the Preservation Studios' recommendations and opinions and the public input and submit its our recommendation to the Board of Trustees. It is our goal to deliver our recommendation to the Board of Trustees by March, but certain no later than April of this year, dependent on the schedule of how fast our trustees can move through their process. After we deliver our opinion, it will then be in the hands of the Board of Trustees to move forward with its public hearings and render a final decision on whether or not to move forward with expansion of the Southampton Village Historic Districts. I know it sounds like a long process, but moving the code and moving it forward in a way that has been requested by the citizens as part of the process is what has been taking the time. And this board is being very diligent to make sure that we are protecting what could be an unintended consequence for the village. So that we wanted to put that out there tonight. So thank you. So from there, let's move to the agenda. The first thing on the agenda tonight is the minute approval for December the 8th. Did everyone receive the minutes and have a chance to read?
Yes.
Okay, are there any additions or changes? Okay, therefore I'm going to move to approve the minutes for December 8th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have no written decisions tonight. We have two adjournment requests. So motion to approve the request from the Village of Southampton 2023 Main Street and the Village of Southampton Gin Lane Agawam Project COA to move to January 26th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That takes us to sign permits. There are none. New matters, there are none, which takes us to,
Did we say the rear addition?
I think that's, did I miss one?
Uh-huh. The rear addition, you know.
That's, I thought that was the 23 Main Street.
You said that? Okay.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about,
No, I think we just did them together.
okay, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. So that takes us to demolition evaluations. The first one is for 146 North Main Street. Hello? Hello? If you could start by introducing yourself.
Yes, my name is Robert Fischetti. I am the attorney for the owner of 146 North Main Street.
Great.
Have our
It's
plans.
going to be critical that people can hear you.
Yeah, I'm going to move over to here. I was just going to give you
Okay.
the survey and everything in case you wanted to have that kind of.
We have it already.
Didn't we get the
I
survey?
made sure they gave you copies.
I believe we already have it. Okay.
What is it?
But in case.
As I said, my name is Robert Fischetti. I'm the attorney for the applicant. I have here with me, well, on his way here, he's running a little late, is the trustee of the trust. So the property's owned by an LLC. The sole member of that LLC is a trust. The trustee, Robert Howard, is running late. He was going to try to join by Zoom. I don't know if that's something we can check and see if he's...
Sage, is someone raising their hand for Zoom?
No, but I have Robert Howard.
Oh,
Yes, so...
that's good.
Okay.
I also have with me here Sister Catherine Schluter, the principal of the Our Lady of the Hampton School, as well as John Seville, who's the president of the board of the school,
Okay.
and Jessica Edge, who is the senior landscape designer at Ocean View Landscapes.
Great,
And I'll
welcome.
explain how they are involved in a moment.
Okay.
So the property is 146 North Main Street. It's the residence located on the east side of North Main Street, just south of the Our Lady of the Hampton School. It was constructed prior to 1902, and while we acknowledge the age of the house, after extensive research by a historian and architect and a careful inspection by a professional engineer, we do think that this building does not meet the criteria to be designated as a landmark and should be approved for demolition. In support of our application, we submitted to the board, or to the building department, a historical review and evaluation prepared by Civic Visions LP. Civic Visions is made up of Susan Niagara Snyder, a registered architect, and George Thomas, a cultural and architectural historian. That report examines, among other things, the lack of historical significance, no distinctive characteristics of type, period, or method of construction, a lack of identifiable architectural style. Indeed, so maybe the most identifiable, recognizable feature of the house is the yellow color, which was not original. It was maybe the third or fourth color of the house, not part of the original work. It's not, the house is not the work of a notable or influential designer. It's not associated with any historical personages or events. Our report includes an engineer's evaluation prepared by Stephen Lemansky, which outlines the poor initial construction, various structural failures, termite damage, moisture infiltration. He deems the building unsafe for occupancy. Basically, remediation would be impossible, would need to be rebuilt. That report also included photos. We provided a survey, a floor plan of the house. We provided, importantly, a letter of support from the owner of 140 North Main Street
Yes, you did.
to the south of this house. And then we also provided, and that's where we get into this part, is a preliminary plan from Ocean View Landscapes, because the intent here is, so this trust was established by the estate of Arlene Mojeski. She was a big supporter of the school. When this property became available, the trust purchased the school to be, the trust purchased the property to be used by the school. We understand that that has to go through planning board, and there's a lot of work to be done on that. This is really just step one, you know, that's really why we're here, is to get that process started. I have the folks from OLH here to answer any questions as far as going forward, but that's really what we're presenting to you.
Okay. Here's where we're coming at it from. This house is not in the historic district.
Correct.
But it does have a blue sheet. And I will tell you, in all my years here, when people have come to us, no one's ever said, we have an old house, but it's in fine shape and we just want to tear it down. They all come in with a big, long report telling us why it couldn't possibly stand.
I understand.
But what I will say is, to do our job, what we do is we then turn it over to our architecture historian, which is Zach Studenroth, and we have actually turned this over to Zach and asked Zach to do his own independent study. So we have our own information to deal with, which we will compare to the work that you've done. That's not a slight against we know the firm that you've worked with.
Understood.
But the next step for us is to actually get that report in from Zach. And I know we asked for it, but it's not come in, and we're expecting it by the next meeting, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
He is working on it.
Yeah. So I think what we should do is understand that that's where we are. We've all read and taken into consideration everything you've delivered. We just need to wait now in our process to get the report from Zach in order to go to the next step to be able to consider it.
Okay, will we get a chance to review that report
course.
before the meeting?
You'll get it as soon
As
as.
soon as it's made available to the board, it'll be posted on the Dropbox.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great.
And we'll notify you it's in, won't we?
We typically do try and do that.
Yeah. We try to also
Okay,
notify
I'll
that
check
it's
in
come in.
as
Yeah.
well. But you're expecting it next week, you said?
No.
Well, in advance of next meeting, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So then we'll take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at what you've provided. We'll compare them, and then we'll take our decision from there.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
And I think let's do that, and then we can talk about the land use and what you intend to do with it at that, and the landscaping at that time.
Sure.
That'll keep all our steps in order.
All right,
And-
that's fair.
I just want to be clear, the application you're applying for now is just for demolition. You're not applying for a certificate of appropriateness for the landscaping at this time?
No, we're not applying for any approval of the landscape.
Okay.
or
Well, there would
anything.
not
It's
be a
just-
certificate of
wouldn't be a
appropriateness.
It wouldn't be a
because they're not
certificate,
historic
but
district.
yeah, nothing, we're not applying for anything to be
Yeah.
installed or built.
Okay.
That was just a preview, so you understand what the plan is.
Yeah, which we understand and we thank you for. So, so let's make that our next step. So I'm going to open this to public comment, and don't need to.
No.
Okay. So then I'm just if it's fine with you, then I'm going to motion to approve your request for an adjournment, or actually, I
No,
guess it's
we're
the board's
doing it.
request to January 26th.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Then we'll see you. Then we'll take the next
Okay,
step.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you all for it's nice to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so that takes us to
30 little ponds.
30 Little Plains Road.
I don't think anyone can hear you. Is that on?
Oh, it's not.
No, just pull it closer to you.
Okay.
There you go.
CU
You look like a radio
architect.
announcer, I know. Okay.
CU architect. I'm the architect for 30 Little Plain, and we are asking for demo evaluation. And and here's the property, the setback. I mean the survey, and this is the existing house. It is O'Connor Funeral Home, and we propose to demolish it and build a new house there. This is a residential district, and this is actually a non-conforming use as a commercial building, and it doesn't meet the setback and also doesn't meet pyramid laws, and our new design would resolve those problems.
Okay. Here's the interesting thing about that house. The building is located in the 1993 National Register. It listed as the Lewis Street expansion area of the Southampton Historic District. It's a 1920s colonial revival. It's identified as a contributing building to that district. However, that designation is recognized by the state and federal levels only, not by the village. So it's interesting. As a result, a COA is not required for this. A certificate of appropriateness is not required for this building. But just because it has this weird distinction, I think we're going to ask that we send it to Zach and just have Zach take a look at it. Because our only choices right now would be to landmark the building or not landmark the building. And I think just because of the weird moment it's recognized at state and federal levels, that it behooves us to actually send it to Zach and have Zach do his report and come back and talk to us so we have all our file complete before we make a decision.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if that works for you, then I think, have we sent this to Zach?
Not yet.
Okay, so we'll send it to Zach tomorrow. And why don't we adjourn this to the next meeting, and hopefully we'll have that information by then.
Yeah.
Okay.
The homeowner would really would like it to be
I'm sure.
So-
Okay.
This is a funeral home.
Yeah,
Okay,
everybody
so
wants-
I'm going to motion that we adjourn 30 Little Plains Road to January, at the board's request, to January 26th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that takes us to public hearing, historic carryover matters. The first is Walden Manor at 16 Gin Lane.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Oh, thank you.
All right, you should have one. You're facing the right way. Good evening, Melissa Dedovich, Peconic Environmental Associates. I'm here on behalf of Walden Manor LLC. I'm here with Kirk Lehman from AML Architecture. At our last meeting, November 10th, we were asked to go and provide some cross-sections and a line of sight for where the Jean Prouvost art installation is going to be installed and how it would affect the neighbors, and we have provided that, and Kirk will walk you through it.
So basically, we created a plan and cross-section to show the kind of area around and the one neighbor who had some concerns about the installation of the Prouvé. The house in question is over 460 feet away, and there are 2 tall hedge lines and rows of trees that exist between our installation and the house on Fairley. Just up here, excuse me. So you'll see they literally have to look across this new house that was built about 10 years ago, as you know. There's a 12-foot hedge line here, another 12-foot hedge line here, a row of trees that have been planted and mature trees, in addition to the ring of trees we're doing around our installation. So the possibility of this being visible, I think, is minimal, or what they will see is going to be very obscured through the plantings.
And the one thing we'd like to point out is our property at 16 Gin is over 5 acres. The property to the north, directly abutting it, is owned by our property owner as well. We have letters of support from the Ayers family, who over here at 22 Gin Lane. And our land is contiguous to where the proposed structure will rest. I have no objection to the installation. Then we have the Farley residence, which is 28 Gin, and Catherine Farley said, as background, our house is directly next door to the August property and is close to the property line. Our bedroom overlooks their landscaping and will have a direct view of the circle of trees. We are writing to confirm that we have no objection to the installation as described in the August application. And then we also provided 2 letters during this procedure from the Southampton Arts Center, from Christina Strausford, who's the director, executive director. And she, to just have a little section, this installation is a rare iconic sculpture that elevates our community. It is a very unique opportunity to be able to have this lasting piece of architecture in our village. Although its use has transformed, its relevance has stood the test of time. And then we also provide a letter of support from the Southampton History Museum. And we're here to address any questions that any of the board may have.
Okay. Board members?
Just curious, do you have any photos of the installation?
We do. We provided them. They were
Yes.
submitted.
Oh, there, sorry. I
Yeah.
have-
It's
Well,
okay.
we've been given so
I'm sorry,
many
this is-
things
we
at all
had a-
different times.
I have an elevation, I just didn't get the renderings of the photos.
And
Oh,
we also
it's
have
a-
the
I
day.
have,
But I'm all for it, just I
Oh, thank you.
personally, I'm all for it, fan.
Here's
I
one.
am too, but I don't think it's by law, it's any, here, do you want this part?
We have this one too. This is the,
I don't know if I got all of them.
So, yeah. That, to me, would be,
It was probably 2 meetings ago because they adjourned for the last meeting.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
it's on in
November.
I'm sorry?
Here are some renderings we're showing right up
Oh, great.
okay.
there. That. And that's in relation to the house. And there.
Board members, other thoughts and opinions?
Well, sorry. I love Jean Prouvé, but in looking at the code, I think it points to, in a historic district, that whatever is on the property or is added to the property
Mhm.
needs to have a relationship to the history of the main structure, I would say, or the property itself.
That's actually addressed in the letter from the president of the Southampton History Museum, if you would entertain me.
Well,
We understand the proposed structure is to be situated adjacent to the property's existing gardens and Gilded Age style greenhouses erected in 1983. The location, though not visible from the street, thereby mitigating any concern regarding its impact on the streetscape. Moreover, the Provey structure complements the existing central greenhouse in form of materials being both round and composed of glass and metal. Although a modern in design, this particular Provey structure evokes an older aesthetic of metal and glass historic greenhouses, palm houses, and conservatories, which were a common feature of the Gilded Age American country house estates. Indeed, the main house of the Woolden Manor was originally completed 1900, designed by architects Barney and Chapman, and it features expansive glass and metal greenhouses as well as large metal and glass conservancy enclosing the pool. They mentioned the Woolden Manor pool house, which unfortunately had been destroyed by the hurricane of 1938. Coupled with its thoughtful siting within the private landscape setting, the Provey structure will integrate harmoniously without intrusion, echoing early architectural structures of metal and glass at Woolden Manor.
In all honesty, that's a lot of opinion in there.
yeah.
I understand,
Um,
but
Where are the data?
Yeah.
That, I don't agree with that, actually.
You know, we
Okay.
don't have to agree with
they
So,
don't.
and
yeah. Go ahead.
And I do think, I mean, I was actually surprised in sort of what I thought was the strict explanation from the code that, because this is considered a building because it has a roof. It's not a folly, it's not any, it's an actual building, that when you add a building, that it has to have a relationship in terms of the historic time. And I don't agree with what you read, so I guess that's where the argument would come.
Well, I was speaking to Chris Talbot, and
You know,
I'm
right
sorry.
now, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let's get all the board's opinions.
Sure.
Okay.
I find it a real conundrum. I'm looking at this picture here and seeing that this was on the property at one point. It seems to have a similar relationship as that.
Can you tell us
what
what
is
structure
that?
you're referencing?
I'm sorry.
That was the
That-
original.
That's
The
to the-
original
that was to the
pool
west of the
house.
main
The original
house.
And
Pool house.
this is attached to the Historic Museum letter.
Okay.
But it
It
no
was the-
longer
it was the original-
exists.
It was the original enclosed pool.
I understand.
No, it no longer exists, but I'm
Yeah.
saying it was, I'm just saying,
Yep.
Well,
it was once upon a time on the property, and I'm just saying it's a conundrum because is it an art installation or is it a building? And I'm
if
not.
they had said it was an art installation, we'd be, I think, in a better position.
We actually weren't, they actually approached the village as an art
Yes.
installation.
And they
We're
weren't
told by
allowed
the
to do
village that
it.
it's a
Okay,
structure.
so that, it's rules, but we work by rules.
I mean, I think it's a unique opportunity in a one-of-a-kind setting. It's a specific structure that sits separately completely from the house. And I think it's an interesting juxtaposition with the house for sure. I like that. It's, I think it's an interesting thing. It's a conundrum for the board, I feel like, and what we can do and not do, and where we cover and where we don't.
Okay. Here's what I think we should do. Let's go through the code,
Okay.
and let's see what the code says and see how we feel about it. The code reads, in applying the principle of compatibility set forth in subsection B of this section, the board shall consider the following factors. That 1, the general design and character of the proposed exterior alteration or new construction relative to existing features of the property improvement. 2, the scale and visual compatibility of the proposed exterior alteration or new construction in relation to the property itself, surrounding properties, and the neighborhood. 3, texture, color, and materials, and the relation to similar features of the property and other properties in the neighborhood. visual compatibility with surrounding properties, including proportion of the property's facade, proportion and arrangement of windows and other openings within the facade, roof shape, and the rhythm of spacing of properties on streets, including setback, and 5, the importance of historic physical and visual features to the significance of the property. This is a highly unusual situation, and we are fortunate to have this conundrum in Southampton because we don't often get presented opportunities like this. Because the other thing from my standpoint, and let's talk about this, I also read section D, which says, in approving an application for the certificate of appropriateness, the Board of Architecture Review shall find that the building or structure for which the permit was requested, if erected or altered, yada yada, would be consistent with the spirit and intent of this chapter, would not be visually offensive or inappropriate by reason of poor quality or exterior design, monotonous similarity or visual discord in relation to the sites or surroundings, would not mar the appearance of the area, would not impair the use, enjoyment, and desirability, or reduce the values of property in the area, would not be detrimental to the character of the neighborhood, would not prevent an appropriate development and utilization of the site on adjacent lands, and would not adversely affect the functioning, economic stability, prosperity, health, safety, and general welfare of the community. I think you'd be hard-pressed to say that this structure would
Do any of those.
do any of those things. And part of me is the age. It's not a new structure. It's a historic structure that's by an internationally recognized architect that can be brought into the village for the enjoyment of the homeowner. And the homeowner, at first I had a little issue with the homeowner wanting to make it into a public museum. So, but you tell me you won't, but I have people that I know, they've had discussions with the museums about what they're going to do together in the structure. So there's that. But, part of me feels like it is a complete anomaly for what we normally see. And when I take into consideration the support that you have from the neighbors and an opportunity which is really unique to the village, and I take into consideration D, I think that it probably doesn't fit into a couple of, maybe 3 of the 5 points that we have to consider, but I think 2 of them it could fit into in its appropriateness, in its history, and in its architectural value. Therefore, from my standpoint, I would be inclined to probably approve it. Anyone have other comments? No, we have to go to public comment. So, do we have any public comments?
Wow.
Okay.
That is a surprise.
If it's helpful, there's also some guidelines in our design guidelines that reference outbuildings. That I can read. There's a brief section.
But
Read them.
can I just, the one, I was talking to Chris Talbot about this
Actually,
on Friday.
you can't. Just give me a minute here because
Oh,
we're debating. Give me a minute. Go ahead.
Do you want me to read that
Yeah.
section? So there's, on page 70 of our design guidelines for the historic buildings, it talks about outbuildings. It says the construction of new outbuildings such as pool houses, garages, sheds, gatehouses, and secondary living quarters can either have a beneficial or deleterious effect on historic character of the main house and its surroundings. In addition to the design features listed above, new outbuildings should generally adhere to the principle that they are secondary structures and should never overwhelm the main building or call overt attention to themselves. Thus, new buildings should be generally located to the rear of the main building or at a less conspicuous location. And it references the other design guidelines that are in our, design principles that are in our guidelines that you're familiar with in terms of massing and scale.
In this case, it couldn't be the rear because that would be the ocean.
Right. But given 250
No,
feet, it's...
I know, I'm kidding. But so that's where I'm coming down on it. We have no comments from the public.
Can you read the, I think it was section D that you said, can you read that again? Just, I
Yes.
mean, there was
In
a-
approving an application for a certificate of appropriateness, the bar hop, as I call us, shall find that the building or structure for which the permit was requested, if erected, altered in accordance with the submitted plan or with stated modifications, would be consistent with the spirit and intent of this chapter, would not be visually offensive or inappropriate by reason of poor quality or exterior design, which I think is negated by the letters by the feelings of the board and the letters from the neighbors. Monotonous similarity, or it's certainly not that, or visual discord in relation to the sites or surroundings would not mar the appearance of that area, would not impair the use, enjoyment, and desirability, or reduce the values of properties in the area, would not be detrimental to the character of the neighborhood, would not prevent an appropriate development and utilization of the site of adjacent lands, and would not adversely affect the functioning economic stability, prosperity, health, safety, and the general welfare of the community. I think this, in fact, does the opposite of that. And I think it, in the strictest of guidelines, if you brought this as a new structure, we would turn it down because it violates a lot of things that we would do. But I think it's a very extremely unique opportunity for the village, and I find in the amount of land of which it's falling, and I find it additive more than I find it detrimental to the code of the village, is my opinion. So with that, would you like us to vote?
Well, I was just going to say that Chris Talbot actually felt bad because he knows for bringing over this historic structure and everything. I wish I could just say it was an art installation, because there are many pieces of art that have been installed in the historic district that don't have to get certificate of appropriateness. And this is, I want to say, unicorn, in that it just happens that the piece of art happens to be a structure.
All that's true.
That's all I want
Unicorn,
to say.
good work.
And the structure's being relocated from somewhere else.
All right, we have no comments to vote.
currently in France.
Then
In
I
the future,
am
could
going
be
to
relocated elsewhere.
to approve the application for 16 Gin Lane.
Written decision.
Oh, written decision.
I'm sorry, I'm going to motion to move to written decision to approve the application for Gin Lane to construct the accessory structure based on a presentation and drawings delivered on, let's move it to tonight, on January the 12th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Okay.
Thank you
we
very
go.
much.
Thank you.
I do feel like I'm doing a podcast here, though.
Yeah. I feel that way every
Very
two. I feel that way
popular.
every 2 weeks.
I know.
Okay, so that brings us to 251 Pond Lane to construct a 2-story single-family dwelling.
Good evening.
Anymore,
My name is Pablo Jendretsky Design Consultants. I'm here to, in response to the...
Do me a favor and pull that mic closer to you. Thank you.
There you go. Here to present drawings revised based on our December 8th hearing.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go elevation by elevation and point out to the...
Okay. You can pick them up, Sage. Okay, go ahead, sir.
South elevation, the comments from the last meeting were the excessive number of exterior lanterns. So we reduced them to basically 2, which are under the roof of the porch. Then we eliminated the little tiny dormer above the window in the garage, which was another one of the comments.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Did you eliminate it? Because you dropped off 2 sets of drawings, and I have one on January 12th, and the rendering you have on January 12th still has it there.
That's back.
Isn't that what we're talking about?
No,
Over the
we're
garage?
I think we're in the front now.
Yeah, we're
South
in the
elevation.
south elevation.
Oh, okay, I'm
But
sorry.
You're gonna get your chance.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, you can see it's basically the one
Yes.
above the.
Sorry, I heard over the
Okay,
garage.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Going back to the east elevation,
Here we go.
the comments were mainly the balcony, the floating balcony above the carport. That was eliminated and replaced with an open pergola and columns. Basically to respond to the comment that there was no real architectural precedent in the area where balconies are cantilevered, floating. And then there was a comment about the skylight, which was, the suggestion was that instead of a skylight, we could have a roof window. So we replaced it with a roof window. The length of the window basically catches the den and 2 bathrooms on the 2 ends. That's why it feels a little wider. Then going to the north elevation, the main comment was still we could make an effort to reduce the size of the windows in the stair and in the master bedroom. So what we did is, instead of having a bay window made out of full architectural window language, we basically have windows inside of solid walls. And that made the windows reduce by about 20% in width. And then I'm going to describe what happens in the on what was the terrace and now it's an alcove, but I think it's better described in the west elevation. So if you allow me to do that. Actually, so this is a rendering of what happens in the north elevation with, instead of having bay windows, full glass, you have walls and windows. Let's just go back here. So in the west elevation, there was a comment about the excessive length of the terrace that encompassed all the center area plus the second floor in front of the master bedroom with a floating roof. So what we did is change the language of the sunroom, which was all, again, it was all glass, into solid shingle walls with punched windows in it. And instead of having a floating roof, we created a sort of alcove with
This is the new one.
supports.
This is January.
And the goal of all of this was to also make the long terrace in the center, which is about 38 feet long, wide, more contained and not continuous all the way to the end of the building. And then one last tweak we did here was a comment about how the terrace overlapped onto the south wing. Now we reduced it and kept it within. So with that, I welcome your comments.
Board members.
I just can't.
I guess I can start. I think it's much improved.
Nina, can you just
Oh,
pull the
I'm
mic
sorry.
toward you?
It's much improved. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. A couple of, well, my main comment is that, again, under the front facade, these white,
A little trim
Sort of-
below.
I still have the same comment about that. I'm wondering if maybe the columns of the entry could align, so it's more linear. But yeah, that would be my main comment for those, that facade of the south elevation. And then for the north elevation, I think somehow the rhythm and symmetry of the facade would be improved if this was smaller, and this also might be causing a bit of light pollution, this longer window here.
I mean,
So
it became
symmetry.
smaller than we had before.
You're right, if they were the same size, I think it would be a very rhythmic and symmetrical and proportionate facade. Personally, that's just mine. But
What
otherwise,
page
I
are you
think-
on, Nina?
Sorry?
What page are you on?
I'm on the north elevation.
And that's it?
That's it.
For me, I thought we went over the balcony and now we have another something. I don't know what to call this, another balcony, 2 balconies on the west elevation, correct? That we thought in the center part of the house, which goes across the entire center of the house. think is, I don't know. It seems like an awful lot of balconies, and we're not really fond, we don't like, for privacy issues. In this particular place, I'm not sure that's so much of an issue. But honestly, I think pick one, not two. It looks busy and confused to have both of them. And also one's a different side. What, on the, what is this? Left, I'm sorry, west, east, north.
No,
What, did you add another balcony over there? Is that the master bedroom?
Before it was an open balcony.
I
All
don't
the way
know what it
across, it
was.
ran all the way
Connected.
across.
I just, there's so many pieces of paper I don't dare move.
In the beginning,
Oh,
it was.
it went the whole way,
the
but it
So they-
zigzagged.
They pulled this up and they've added walls to
Mhm.
it and enclosed it into more of a protected structure
Uh-huh.
versus where it was.
It's still, I think, very busy because of those two. I also, can I look at that one thing? I find, is there a reason why everything that you're doing on this property is jammed together? Is that a zoning issue? That you have
well,
a
there's
pool, a tennis court, a house, all jammed, literally like a giant rectangle if you were colorblind.
it's an H, really.
It's a what?
It's not really a box, it's an H. There's a courtyard in the back.
Yeah,
on
I
the
see
east-
that, but from here, I mean, you presented this to us.
Right.
Okay, I didn't make this up. But this
Well,
is
there's-
somehow,
There's quite a lot of reasons how the design developed into that, but the tennis court was a big constraint because there's only one place in the property where the tennis court makes sense.
okay,
So
that's
the
what I,
sun-
makes sense, or there's no other, because, yes, we've heard that.
Because of the big tree,
Yeah, yeah.
because of the.
Oh, yeah,
sun.
the giant tree, yes. The 200-year-old tree, you mean?
Exactly.
Uh-huh. So, but what about,
Yeah, it seems like this is like on top of each other.
and if you pulled,
Where we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
some significant trees.
I,
It almost seems like
a
you're going to be
resort.
playing tennis and the pool is going to be inundated
right there.
with tennis balls, like they're just
But I don't understand.
too close to each other.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just all jammed together, which I think is an.
I think you need
it's
to move the
unpleasant
pool over a
visually.
little bit. Yeah, I would agree.
And I don't, and certainly in that sensitive historic area, I think it's just, is it, for me, I just don't understand it, actually.
You feel that the location of the various elements next to each other are very tight.
Well, in all the
that-
time I've worked on
I
the ARB, I've almost never seen anything like this. And this is a fairly big lot. It just seems, it really does seem almost not residential in an odd way, that you're cramming all this in because you don't have enough room. I don't understand it, I really don't, and I don't think it's pleasing. It's the, if the tennis court weren't there, I could understand it. But by jamming that in there, I find it, I don't know what words to use to describe it. It's like squished together. I understand reasons that have to do with use, but that's not what we do. So the question is, isn't there another way to configure this so that it's not so in your face, just one huge, massive build-out, really? Does anyone else think that?
No, I agree with you pointing that out now and seeing how close. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like there's a 2-foot hedge or something between the tennis court and the pool.
I think that's a shadow, perhaps. It
Yeah, there's a
doesn't-
hedge, but there's also space, there's about 15 feet.
Okay, and in the rendering, you have to understand what we're looking at. That shadow looks like it's just a hedge between it.
There is a hedge, yeah.
But that's not 15 feet wide, is it?
Let me just ask the question here, because I actually understand why you've put the tennis court where you've put the tennis court because of restrictions. Is there a similar reason why the pool itself is also tucked so close to the house when your building envelope goes so much farther?
because of the sun. Because you wanna be facing west and south. So there's a logic to it. It also, the way it works is there's a hedge on purpose, and the tennis court is sunken, so there's a distance psychologically between them. When you're in the pool, you're in the pool. When you're in the tennis court, you're in the tennis court. And even if they're close, you're not leaving them in the tightness as the rendering shows.
I think what you're hearing is just some concern from board members that the two things are tight enough that you could actually be in a pool float and have a conversation with someone playing tennis. I mean, that's because it's tightness, and I don't know that it's a necessarily a deal killer from my perspective. It may be from others, but it does look like either the pool could move, slightly to, I guess, it's
Mark.
the east, but
Mark,
it's
I understand you weighing in on the site elements, but that's outside of your
not. That's
purview.
outside. Okay.
But isn't there a way to address how it sits on the land? And I mean, really,
It's not relevant to this board's review.
Okay. So then we'll move
All
on
right,
to the
back
house.
to the balcony. I think one or the other. I think the whole expanse, it still looks like you have one big balcony, and I would say just go with a smaller balcony. I think that's very well done the way you've done it now. Whereas I don't see the necessity for the large balcony. And my other comment is that by putting the pergola there, now there's so much dental going across 3/4 of the east elevation that it just seems like too much dental work. Pergola makes more sense than the balcony, but it just seems too repetitive. Those are my two comments.
Is that pergola open across
Yes.
both?
Yep.
And across the back of the house open?
Big improvement for the window. The skylight looks much better.
Yes, and the reduction of light fixtures was a big change too. I think that looks a lot better. I agree with Nina. I think there's something really oddly distracting about the way the sort of, I'm going to say bay window, if you will, pop out and have the trim across the molding that's not consistent around the whole house, that it looks like it's like it bounces around in elevation on every different elevation is different.
You mean the size of the windows?
Each window where it pops out from the house.
the
They're
white
consistent on
at
the
the
front.
bottom,
The white, like there's
Under
no
the
consistency.
bottom
with the
of the
pergola.
punch
bottom of
out?
it.
Okay.
Exactly.
this, right,
These
right,
stripes.
and it's here too.
Is your concern the weight or the inconsistency in the design, or both?
Both.
Okay.
It just seems highly exaggerated.
Let me see if I can. What
It
you're
feels
saying.
disconnected.
Okay. What I'm here. Let me see. What I'm hearing is on the north elevation, the fact that your the what is the stairwell is at a different depth,
Mhm.
than the over the door, is not symmetrical and jarring, and because the trim detail on the bottom of those two bump outs differs from the trim detail on the same two on the south elevation, and in all cases, all of it feels too heavy.
Or too much.
Right.
Okay.
But
Yeah, the two panels, on the south side, you have two panels in the lower, and on the north, you just have the one.
Right.
On the north, you have one with upper and lower, looks like 1.5 inch trim, and on the other, it looks like you have a 4-inch board over a 3-inch board or 4x4s.
And
I
is
can't
that the
tell, and they're
rendering?
not
Sorry.
consistent.
Right.
Is it the rendering or is it the?
I think it's a rendering. I
Okay.
don't have the elevations right here with me. You do.
But I think
It's a
either way, I think
double, a
yeah,
single.
I think that you need to come back and just reduce the visual impact of that, is what I'm hearing. That people aren't loving that. The one thing I would say, normally with the porch in the front, the columns go to the end of the porch. So I think the on both the left and right, where they're not out to the end of the structure. Normally, it'd be more typical to us for that the columns are at the end of the roof overhang, not inset that way.
Mhm.
And I think you need to take a look at the north elevation for the two bump outs and the stairwell, I think you're hearing pretty consistently that people are finding that disharmonious.
So can you repeat the last thing? That you're talking about the two windows
Yes,
being different?
North elevation.
that the
North
depth,
elevation.
yeah, that the depths are different.
You mean the depth? Oh, the
Yeah,
height.
Height, sorry, height.
Well, the
the
height
heights are
has to be different because we're responding to what's in the house. This is a stair atrium.
Nothing has to be.
But then there's also a window in the stair atrium that's below grade that drops down into the stairwell that's behind the bushes
Right.
that you can't see in the rendering.
Right.
So that's a completely different window that's set back.
Correct. But I mean, part of the point of having these windows come out was to break the mass and making windows for different rooms that have different functions, identical, forced, didn't feel natural. It feels more natural to give it a dynamic feel, even if they're different, there's the same language. And they respond to what's inside of the house. So to us, that made more sense than trying to make these two windows the same, having a window in the stair
I
of the
think,
same height as in the bedroom.
I hear you, but I think you're hearing pretty consistently from several members of the board that they're not finding it harmonious and appropriate. So I think your job would be to go back and figure out a different solution to it that this board would feel would be more appropriate.
If it didn't have the white detailing on the lower part of it,
Right.
wouldn't that just solve the problem?
Perhaps.
Because I don't know what that does.
Can I ask you a question about you just commented about the columns on the front porch?
Hmm?
Like if those were, like you were saying that the columns would extend out here, right?
No, it just
Typically in a more.
It'd go to right here.
Right.
Yeah, and here. In order to have the big overhang, the columns usually support the
They're
edge of
not,
the window.
right, that they support the
Yeah.
edge.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So can I say
Yeah.
something? What you're saying is that the column is too much set in
Mhm.
from the end of the actual
I think
porch.
that's what he's saying, yes.
Yeah.
And do we get to the balcony, even the railings?
And then on the balcony issue, I think,
I don't know, I don't know.
everybody's sort of weighing, everyone just tell us what your opinions are on the balcony, because I think we need to give them some very fair feedback here. I would tell you that from my perspective, that the enclosing of the balcony that was over the master bedroom and putting up the columns and giving it its own personality was better than the floating roof that over an open terrace. So I actually think by defining it, it actually helps there. And if you look at, I guess my point, if you look at the column spacing below the balcony in the back, see how the columns come out to the edge? That's what I'd like to see in the front for consistency. And the fact that they've made the balcony smaller and from where this faces, because is that the angle that faces toward that faces over the property toward the lake?
No, the opposite.
It's the opposite. Could face the other way. Okay.
This, faces west.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. This balcony over the master is just much more successful by enclosing it so that you don't have the railing going all the way along the front of the house. It's much more successful.
And what about the other balcony?
I don't see the necessity of that.
Well, they want to cover the bottom, the first floor, right? Because it's a seating area.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if it's the monotonous railings, because the spacing appears to be the same. I don't know, it just seems awkward. I can't explain, I wouldn't know what to do, actually.
What are on the very sides that looks like it's it doesn't look wood any long, it doesn't look white any longer on either side of the,
That's because the terrace goes back a couple of feet to meet
Yes.
The house.
the two ends.
Yeah. They
This
said that.
dives into that wall,
Yeah.
this protrudes beyond that face.
Yeah.
Like by
oh, okay.
a couple of feet.
I don't know.
This one I just don't think it's anywhere near as successful, and I don't know
Well, they
I
can't
mean, the
do
one
it
thing
twice.
about that balcony is that it's looking into their own grasslands and they're, looking into landscape.
What's your opinion on the balcony?
I agree with you. I think it was much more successful when it's closed in like that. And they don't bother me that it's two and that they're looking at their own property.
You know, the ones,
And
for
also
me,
keep
this is not a
looking
deal
for-
killer. For me, where I find the inconsistencies, you see the railing that you have over in the enclosed. The rails go down. You have the top, you have the pickets, and then you have the bottom. You've added, instead of being a consistent, the rail on the other side also has the series of boards at the bottom of it that are open. I think that maybe I think if we just took the rails all the way down, stiles all the way down, and softened that and just made it a little softer and a little more consistent, I don't think would be as jarring.
It would also help with that more consistent line across the
Yeah.
overall project.
I agree with that.
A little more harmonious for the
Yeah.
front
Yeah,
and the
it's-
back
Yeah.
sides.
Less action, yeah.
So that's a lot, but we're getting close. And to Nina's original point, thank you, because I think as we're getting close, you are listening and responding for what you're hearing for the board, which we appreciate. Are there any comments from the public? Okay, so how would you like to move forward, sir? The next meeting is the 26th. Can you be ready by then?
Absolutely.
With the revisions? All right. So I'm going to motion set the applicant's request for an adjournment to January 26th for, what's my address right here? For 251 Pond Lane. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that takes us to public hearings, non-historic carryover matters. And the first one is, and the only one is, 15 Ann's Lane for demolition of existing dwelling.
Tuesday at noon, prior to Monday.
Yeah. Can't find stuff like that. Yes, I can.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you? I'm George Plamondon. I'm one of the owners, along with my wife Jen. Jim McChesney is our architect. He might
Okay,
be on Zoom.
I'm gonna ask you though,
Oh,
they have to
and
be able to
mic.
hear you at home, so if you'll make that microphone your friend, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. My name is George Plamondon. My wife Jen and I own the 15 Ann's Lane. Jim McChesney is the architect. He may be on Zoom. I'm not sure.
Okay. This is round two.
I think I can walk us through it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the south-facing front of the house. You asked us to simplify roof line previously by not segmenting the gambrel roof line, and so we did that.
Okay.
I'll point this out because it's sort of the next order of business, the balcony. You guys had asked us to make it smaller. It was 13 by 26. We reduced the size to 9 by 18. I'm going to skip ahead to that. Come back. Or did I miss the page? Oh, it's right here, sorry.
This.
And it's also sunken into the roof, so that should make it more discreet. You asked for photos of the perspective from where it will be built, so you can see the neighbors. You can see this, and then the reverse perspective here. We have tall hedges, big trees that will remain, and in the summer, this tree over here is very full, so there's a lot of privacy between the properties. And their house over there, that's above their garage, if that's relevant.
Okay. Those are the changes?
And they got
And-
rid of the little 2000 of the gambrel.
And on the,
Yes.
on the north side of the house, you asked us to eliminate the attic dormers, which we did. We also reduced the metal roof, which was a comment. We took a stretch of it away there. So we reduced that.
Well, could you just point that out one more time? Where it was large.
The roof?
Yeah,
Uh,
the metal part.
Yeah, so the metal is in front here on this extension out toward the pool. And then there was another section
Right.
of it all the way
Oh, yeah.
there
Oh,
that we
yeah.
got rid of
There's
based
like a
on
peppermint
your
that they took
suggestion.
off, yeah.
And the color of that?
The color is cedar shingle
The
and,
metal.
It's dark bronze.
oh, the roof is bronze, yeah.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Jim.
Yes, hello.
Do you want to do me a favor, Jim, and introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, it's Jim McChesney. I'm the architect for the project.
Great, thank you.
And
Now we have you on record. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
I have a question, I'm not sure, this one page doesn't seem to be labeled.
That's the previous,
That's the original.
that's the
Okay,
previous
is-
rendering.
And is this still open here? Like,
No,
No, that's.
Okay.
it's not, sorry. That's the,
okay, so,
What are these?
I
27th
don't
of
know why I
December.
don't
Yeah,
have
we're
the
looking.
newer one.
we don't have an updated rendering, just the designs.
Oh, okay,
Sorry
okay.
about
Yeah,
that.
they're-
There's
they're
no
just
change in
double
color
lines.
or aesthetic.
Okay.
And then there's, in the front of the house, it's shingles, and is there any other material used? Why do I think there is?
It's like board and.
Under
batten.
the
There's
porch,
board
there's the
and
Board and batten
whiteboard.
Going across
Yeah.
the, yeah.
Which is
My
what
bo- is-
color?
It's board.
White.
It's white.
White.
But, and then there's shingle, is the shingles are natural on the house?
Correct.
Side?
Correct.
Yeah, right,
Yes.
yeah.
But the front of the house, oh, it does have exposure of metal, a metal roof
This just doesn't seem.
for the,
Where is that?
I don't know what that is on
It's the,
the,
it's the, extent- it's that room in the back that's
North
heading
or
out.
south?
toward-
Yeah, it's a living room, so that is set back. It is set back to, it's in the northwest corner of the house.
Right.
Well, this is all I have, this is from November.
I find that, well, I don't like
This
metal
is
roofs,
the only
everyone knows that, but
Rendering I
to just
have.
have, I don't know what the point of emphasizing it, or
Okay, so what's the difference here?
how far back is it? From,
That away.
from the main facade?
Okay. So this is the metal roof.
Do you know? There's
I
no
can
numbers
look at
on
it.
it.
I can tell you. I can tell you.
It's more than 20 feet.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
about-
okay,
It's-
Here's the front.
Yeah,
Here's
it's
what
more
you're-
than
what
that.
you're seeing is back here.
right,
I think
Here's
it's,
the front, so it's
okay,
way back.
thank you.
Yeah.
cool, thank you.
Board members.
It's 27 feet back.
Okay, thank you.
Board members.
What happened to shutters? Well, the operable shutters.
We've
Ditched them.
we ditched them, we've been debating, so we've ditched them. Do they have to be
And
operable, or are there cosmetic shutters?
I don't know.
Encouraged.
Encouraged, okay.
What we don't like is SHUDDERS, where the ones that look like they were screwed to the house that could never possibly cover the window and are therefore obviously fake. Those don't usually do well, but because the purpose of a shutter is to close the
Close off the
window,
window.
so it's a proportion thing more than the operable thing. But usually when people make them operable, they actually cover the window. Therefore, it all works.
Okay.
And it
Scale
enhances
And-
the design. I mean, I only have the old one right here. without-
I kind of like it without the shutters
You
personally.
Well,
do?
there are a lot of places where they couldn't put shutters
Yeah.
now,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
So it would be even
reconfiguring
more
the-
busy, which, to me, I don't think we need that, but I like shutters,
Yeah.
but there's a whole section where,
I like shutters if they're real.
In
Um,
reconfiguring the roof line, some of the shutters didn't work in some of the spots because
Yeah.
they got tighter. And so we just decided to eliminate them
Right.
altogether and make it more simple.
I see a lot of places where I don't think you could do it, so why would you have
Yeah.
to do it?
Right.
Right.
That, because
exactly.
I think there's a lot going on already.
Quinn, any comments?
I think it's a big improvement. I think it looks really good. It's cleaned up and it's looked quite nice.
Yeah, I actually think the change to the front of the house is dramatic, in a very good way. Yeah. Jane?
Get it?
Yeah, I wish there was a rendering, but
Is there not?
there's not a new rendering, right?
That's correct, sorry about that.
Well, that's
I
just
think the
what
house
we do.
looks more bold.
What about the chimney? That's like clay?
That's brickwork. That's
It's
that-
brickwork?
That's
It's
brick
brick.
with inlaid brickwork, right?
Brick with-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, you've got that big picture. Where'd you get that?
From my,
Good
yeah.
detail.
From my perspective, I think that the changes you've made are a strong enhancer for the house. I don't miss the shutters, especially in the upper levels where, unless they were operable, they're be odd. But I think the changes you've made are great, and now it looks, I think, appropriate and harmonious to the neighborhood, and little, not typical is the wrong word, but in harmony with what we would normally see in the village.
thank
I
you.
agree. I think that's great.
Okay? Are there any comments from the public? Okay. Then with that, I'm going to motion to approve the application for 15 Ann's Lane based on drawings dated stamped in on December 23rd, 2025. Is there a second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hey, Jen.
thank you.
Okay, so that takes us to new matters. Before we get to new matters, I think I'm going to go slightly out of order for a minute. We have one gate application tonight, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
Miss Guy. Oh, wait.
Is
did
he here?
leave?
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you
there he
here?
is. Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman comes in and sits to the end of every
Every
meeting that we
time.
do, every single time, so, and he drives
on.
far. So as a favor tonight, I'm moving you up, because I think you come every single meeting, and we make you wait till the end, and we're not going to do that tonight. So do you have the affidavits, and are they in order?
Thanks,
Hill
Mother.
Street.
And,
Thank you.
Oh,
yes, if you'll introduce yourself.
Good night, everybody. This is Ramon from Halcon Gate and Fence in
Okay.
East Hampton.
And just let me call this is an application for gate application for 437 Hill Street. And if you'll pull that microphone very close to you, my friend.
This is Ramon from Halcon Gate and Fence in East Hampton, and I'm applying for the owner over 437 Hills Street to get a construction gate.
how tall was it?
Okay.
7 feet. What's the name of it?
Okay, if you'll just take us through the gate, its color and its construction.
The color is going to be white, and the material is going to be ASAC, and the columns going to be brick columns.
And where is it just
Keep
the
up?
guts, what, the electric part? I don't know what you call it, sorry.
No worries. The automation,
Is from
We-
phones?
the keypad we're going to install in the column or next to the column.
Okay,
in the
in the
It
column,
would
in the
have to be in
brick
the column.
column?
It'd have to be in the
Looks
column.
better, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how far back does this gate sit from the street? Because we're on a flag lot here, that's what I'm asking.
Here.
It's going to be
So you're at the front of this long.
35.
You're at the front of this, you're back farther. Okay,
35 foot from
okay,
the road.
okay. All right. Looks to me like you passed the 40% transparency. There's no light fixtures on top.
Yeah,
The columns are brick, and what color are the brick columns?
red,
Red?
yeah,
Red natural brick.
red natural.
Okay.
Brick.
And the cap on that is stone?
Blue stone.
Blue stone, okay?
Yeah.
Board members, any questions, comments?
Yeah, it's pretty traditional, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
That's good.
Any signage or lettering? Or is it gonna be a stake?
No,
None, okay.
from what I know, no.
Are there any comments from the public? Okay. So with that, then I'm going to motion to approve the gate application. To
decision.
move I'm sorry, to
Written.
move to written decision. The gate application for 437 Hill Street based on drawings presented on January the 12th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good night, my friend.
Thank you.
And thank you for your
Thank you so
patience
much.
with us
All right.
every single meeting. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so that takes us to new matters. The first one is 96 Edward Lane. Do you have the affidavits and are they in order?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Is Brian on the line for this?
Brian, are you coming in by Zoom?
Oh, yes.
Now I find Anne's Lane in the wrong folder.
I'm gonna have to talk to your organizer.
I know, that's me.
Brian, are you there?
It always takes a while. Oh, it says his name.
Oh, I see Brian. Evening, Brian, are you there? Brian, are you on mute?
Did we trick him because we took the gate?
I don't know. Brian, are you on
This
mute?
looks way too
We cannot hear you.
fancy for the rest of
We
the
can't
house.
see you either.
Looks out of place.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, let's try to see me.
That's step one. We can hear you.
It's not, oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, there you are.
Hello, I am Brian Brady. I'm the architect for the project. And allow me to share my screen. I will start off with, let's see if we can move this stuff. All right, here is the survey of the property. Edward Lane is here. It is a one-story ranch house, very similar to the original ranch houses that were in this development. All we're doing to this is adding a simple addition to this side of the property. It's basically 5 feet by 6 feet by 22 feet, and adding a new front porch entrance.
Brian, do you know the answer? Is this the house that we approved the porch addition just like 2 years ago?
2 years ago, we did an addition off the back. Not 2 years ago, it was longer than that, maybe
Okay.
8.
All right.
Yeah.
I feel like the porch. But okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically, this is what's existing here in the lower section, and this is what we're doing. You can see that this end of the house grows by 6 feet, and we are moving the entrance over to here and adding a portico on the entrance.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Here's a rendering of what it will look like. This is what the house looks like now. I have some pictures here of it existing, so you can see it's basically not changing in any material or color or anything like that. This is the new entrance, and this is the new addition that's coming in. And then we have a rendering of the rear of the property, basically, showing how it grew by the 6 feet on this side, but all of this is existing. So it's a very, very simple, basic expansion to get a bigger bedroom and a bigger closet.
Color is all to match existing.
All to match existing. The shutters, they're rendered, they look black, but they're actually navy blue. And the front door is navy blue, and everything else is white with natural cedar shingles.
Board members.
Something about the portico just seems to be too fancy for the rest of the place. It seems like it has too many layers.
It's a very classically proportioned design.
Other board members, comments?
I find the height of it. I realize you have the door.
Whoop.
Oh, goes all the way.
Are we going into your Zoom call?
No,
Move
I
the
was
top-
trying to bring up the
top-
elevation to make it easier to see.
All right, I can see it.
Would that help?
No.
No,
I can
okay.
see it, Brian. It's just, I feel like it's kind of, sticking up in a way that I like everything else, but that, is there a way to not have it so, I can't explain it. It doesn't seem to fit.
You're not sure it's harmonious with the
I'm not
overall.
sure it's harmonious with the actual design of the house.
Maybe just a little too fanciful.
I think it's the height. I don't know.
The height, you can see this is the door that's
Yeah, but-
here, and it's a 7-foot door, so.
Oh, okay.
This is at 8 feet right here. I mean, it's a very, very modest thing. And, you know, and the roof line of the portico has to tie into the eave of the house.
That's okay. I don't know what you could do.
Nina, what do you think?
Yeah, I think maybe 2 columns instead of 4.
These are pilasters in the
Pilasters.
back, which is the appropriate way to tie in a portico to a house.
Here's what I think you're hearing. I think you've got us on everything, but I think you're hearing that the board feels that whether they're pilasters or columns or the arch that's in it or the turnback, that the actual design of the
Pediment?
the portico is a little too fancy for the rest of the house. There's another solution that may be simpler, that may be more design, that the board feels would be a little more design appropriate for the house, is what I'm hearing.
Okay. The only thing I can think of is probably getting rid of the arch.
Well, I think
That might help.
be a really
Yeah.
You know,
good
because
idea.
if it's just a simple
Yeah.
gate.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a little, right now I think it's a little one of every, because you've got a turnback, you've got an arch, you've got pilasters, you've got columns, you've got a lot going on. I just think calming it down a little bit is what you're hearing from the board.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I put the arch in to try to give it some height, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
The rest of it looks very nice.
Okay.
All right. I think the rest of it, I think you're on board with the rest of it, just it's just a redesign of that. Any comments from the public?
Yeah.
Any comments from the public? I'm assuming you can be ready by the 26th?
Yes.
Okay, and you'd like to move to the 26th?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
then I'm going to motion to set the applicant's request for an adjournment for 96 Edward Lane to January 26th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we'll see you then, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up is 8 Duck Pond Lane LLC. Do you have the affidavits and are they in order?
Yes and yes.
Evening.
Good evening. My name is Charles Kuhn, architect for the project, representing Blake and Lena Wellish. The application is 8 Duck Pond Lane. So this is an application that we are.
Okay, I need you to get friendly. There you go. We all have to be radio announcers
how's
in
that
here so
sound?
they can hear you at home. Yes, thank you.
So this application, we are going to be demoing an existing house. So I'd like the board first to consider the demolition of the existing house. The existing house was built in 1985. It's had several additions throughout the course of time. 86 and 88, there was a pool and a pool gazebo. And then beyond that, there were some minor additions and alterations to the house. We don't believe the house is historical in any way. It falls out of the historical boundaries. So we would certainly request the board's consideration for demolition.
Would you like to start with the demo, Val?
That would be great.
Okay, one more time on the build year?
1985.
Okay, so it's outside of what we would consider a period of significance. The question before the board then is there anything about this house for which you would consider landmarking?
No.
No.
Okay.
No,
Then-
but don't just throw it away. Like, let somebody come and take some of the parts away so that it's not just wasted.
Oh, the builder does dismantle the house. They try to salvage what they
That's
can.
not- that was-
Appliances are, sold and given away. So no, we try not to.
In other words, as much as possible, save the environment. Okay.
It's always nice to like.
Okay, so then I'm going to motion that the Architecture Review Board agree to not seek landmark status for 8 Duck Pond Lane. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's move on.
Great. So, all right. So the proposal is for a new two-story single-family dwelling, along with a pool house, a tennis court, and driveway gates. So, starting with the proposed dwelling, so we do have renderings here. The front of the house, we
are trying to go with a more traditional feel for the neighborhood. This is an R20 zone, 2-acre zoning. A lot of, I'm going to say recent builds in the neighborhood. So this is sort of a style that seems to be very prevalent, for this area. The front of the house, again, a little more traditional. As we move to the back of the house, we did sort of ramp up the more contemporary feel of the house a little. One of the main design elements of the house and the property or my clients were in a house that was actually directly across the street, a little to the east. One thing they fell in love with that house was when you walk into the house, there's a 2-story family room. So we do have, in this area here, we do have a 2-story element of glass, and that's going to be a 2-story family room. That's sort of one of the main design features that we tried to work the house around. We do have covered areas in the back. Those are all going to be pergola-type structures. The rendering's a little deceiving. It shows a heavy shadow, but those are open slat pergolas. And
Across, I'm sorry.
across the back. So we have two covered areas. One here to the west, and then this area here to the east. Those are like pergola-type coverings over basically patio areas.
Open
So
pergolas?
They're pergola type. So
But are they, they're slats and they're
Slats.
open?
Yeah, so it's not a solid roof.
I only see
Not a
That's what I'm
slab.
trying to say.
Except for the one to the left.
No, both of them are open
All
side.
open.
Yes. Yeah, the whole idea again is we have a lot of glass in the back. They want to really introduce a lot of light into the house, so it seemed counterproductive to put solid roofs on those. I do have a landscape plan here, which I'll just sort of present. Currently, the property is very heavily wooded on its perimeter. Needs to be cleaned up, but in cleaning up the landscaping, a lot of the dead vegetation will be removed, and a lot of the vegetation that's in the center of the property will be replanted to the edges. The whole idea basically is to really provide or maintain a very heavy landscape border. We do have some parking that we're introducing in the front of the house. That'll be buffered by a boxwood screening. There's a lot of natural vegetation along the front of the house, which is going to be maintained, as well as a line of privet that pretty much runs the border of the property. Driveway gates. I don't know, what order do you want me to go from house? Do you want to discuss driveway gates? Do you want to stay in the
An
house?
application for that.
Do you have an application for the gates, or the gates part of this
Oh,
application?
we do on the site plan, on the site.
But you have an application for the gates, or they're just part of the
We
plan?
included the gates in the application.
Okay.
It's not a separate application? It should
Nope,
be.
go through the gates. We might as well just take it all at the same time. Okay, oh, here they are.
Are they in here?
So gates, we try
Here
to
it
keep
is.
simple. With a solid panel on the bottom, slats on the top. It's going to be white. We do exceed our 40% transparency. I think we're at like 49%. Stone columns with a stone cap. The electronics will be part of a column. There will not be any freestanding electronics.
Okay. Okay. Let's start with the house.
Yep. Go ahead.
Board members.
Well, I think it's sort of, I always like to be simplified. Wait, I gotta find my, so I think there are these, especially up high, there's some, there's a round window that, and then going across, there's a dormer that sits out. Wait, where is this? Then.
You're talking about these dormers up here? No, we do have a round
Well, I
window.
need to get to the, yeah, well, the one, it's so tiny there, wait a minute. you gave us so many pieces of paper, I've lost the thing I want to look at. But there seems to be a sort of, to me, kind of hodgepodgey thing going on up top. There are dormers of all different sizes, or 3 sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's some like brackets or something up here underneath these.
Yeah, the two main gables, I'm gonna say the tower elements.
Yeah, so I'm not,
yeah.
I'm not in love with that. And then there are 2 little windows under one of the gables. There's just too many things. And then if you flip, then the back is a pretty straightforward presentation of a lot of glass, which I heard you about the 2-story glass family room. Having received an oil bill for $2,000 today, I would say good luck to you with that.
You know, I would like to actually.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Oh, it hurts.
About the
I know,
good
it
luck or
hurts.
about
I don't
the bill?
have a giant thing like that, but that's
Okay.
gonna be quite the present, that'll be interesting. But but my major concern, someone else can, someone will say there's too much glass in the back, but to me, the front, it needs to be simplified with the fenestration for sure. And I don't like the brackets. You have these sweeping gables, and then there's too much drama. Especially the dormers, 1, 2, 3 kinds of dormers, then 2 little windows underneath one of the gables. I don't actually like whatever, is there glass? What is the top part of those gables, the white?
With the center gables?
Yeah,
Well, it's basically, it's a solid panel type of a gable detail.
I could live with that if the windows weren't so disparate.
Are those windows up there part of the attic?
They are, yes. The 3 center dormers
Yeah.
over the foyer, those will be functional, those will be part of the foyer. But the
attic windows just go to an attic that's not is this a 3-story house, or is the attic occupable?
No.
Okay.
But the 3
Actually,
dormers?
I'm sorry, something, I apologize. I was sort of thinking about the wrong. The two little windows up in those gables,
Yes.
they will actually be part of the vaulted ceiling in the bedrooms below.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
That's why I asked,
Yeah,
because
I'm sorry.
it kind of looked like it had that relationship,
Yes.
but.
So those are vaulted ceilings on the
Yeah,
second
those-
floor, is that
those are-
correct?
Yeah.
Those are bedrooms, they'll be vaulted ceilings, and those windows will be part of the upper.
And what
ceiling
about
height.
my other 3 friends up there?
The 3 friends in the middle, those actually are functional to the foyer below.
To the foyer?
Yep.
The 3 dormers that are on the 3rd story are functional to the floor?
It's going to be very high ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Drama.
All right.
I have a lot of the same comments that Susan did. I feel like the architecture feels a little inconsistent and not harmonious with itself going across the house. I think the sweeping roof line is a dramatic change from what you've got going on with the 2 peaks in the front with the returns, and then the peak on the side goes all the way across. The brackets don't look like they were just added for, I don't know, not sure why. I also feel the same way about the 3 dormers at the top. They feel inconsistent. I looked and I was trying to figure out what the peak in each of the front-facing roof lines pediments are.
Yeah.
There, it's also in the back, but I can't figure out what that is. I also had a question, like, if you're looking at the house, the section to the left with the round windows on the front and back, is that meant to be like recessed from the rest of the house? And does that look different visually with a planting plan? Because it's strange that the body of the house is the 2 sections to the right, and then the left feels different.
So it's a little, your opinion's maybe a little
It's just
out of proportion, overwhelming.
I think it juts
Does it
out. It
recess
looks like it,
back?
no, but
No,
look,
it
it
actually-
looks like it
actually
juts
pops
out.
forward.
It actually juts forward. If you look at this
yeah,
rendering
there we go.
here, you can see that section
But
does
this
jut
one-
forward.
And is that round
That's
window
where it
for the
goes
foyer?
back.
No, that round, you're talking about this round window here?
Yeah.
That's actually in a bedroom over the garage.
Is this the garage then?
The lower left is the garage.
Here's what I'm going to say, and then let's move. Sometimes people come, and this house has one of every. and it has too much of every.
Okay.
Because you can't decide, you can't look at this house and decide if it wants to be a contemporary house or if it wants to be a traditional house. On the left-hand side, you've got the round window over with the second-story peplum roof and then are all the windows in this house casement?
Yes.
So you've got a traditional house that has contemporary windows. You've got a round window in one area, and then you've got all these contemporary windows across the rest of the house. Normally, a house that wants to be traditional, the windows, double hung windows would be more traditional here. When I get up into the pediments on the front, you've got these two side-by-side windows with two side-side brackets with all this decorative treatment going in. It's way too much. It needs to be simplified. If you want a window, put a window, not two. And I don't know that the brackets are necessary, and I don't know that all the detail trim that we see there inside the gables is necessary because it makes the house look heavy. While I understand you want those three dormers at the top on the third story, I think it gives the house too much visual weight to the top of the house, and the house needs to be brought down. I think those should probably go because they actually don't have a function or not necessary. When I look to the sweeps to the left and the right that are angled moving sweeps, normally that indicates an old house that has sagged over time, which is certainly not the case here, but that's a more traditional element, and again, you're facing with all this contemporary. When I look at the columns at the front, are those light fixtures attached to the columns facing the front?
They are, yes.
Yeah, that would not be typical what we would normally see, because that front-facing light is odd. Is the front door clear, glass?
No, the front door is going to be solid wood.
Solid wood with
side lights.
absolutely no ornamentation to it, no panels, no nothing?
It will be probably, panel, some sort of a panel detail, yes.
And then, so I have this whole sort of contemporary expression a very traditional expression in the overall shape of the house, a very contemporary expression in your choice of fenestrations, except for that round window that's over the gable on the far left. Then, so cleaning all that up, put one window where you have two, take the brackets away, simplify what's going on because the house is looking too fancified and it doesn't look honest because it has too many elements on it. When I look at the what you're calling the left side, which is
Our garage, yes.
yeah, that would be the east side and the cardinal point. In the east side, the light fixtures over the garage seem to be a little traditional in nature for the garage doors against the rest of the house, which is not so traditional in nature. When I go to the back, sort of the same comments. You've got all this detailing work and the double windows and the double brackets and the double everything, and then you need to figure out a way. Though I understand you want the double height, you need to figure out a way to make, especially that center big massive glass, about 20% smaller because it's overblowing the wall to window ratio on the back of the house. And again, on the right-hand side, in the pediment, you've got that round window, the extremely round traditional window that offsets the rest of it.
What I'd like to do, basically, because I think it's important to this application, and again, it's for me trying to portray to the board, the reason why we did things. Like I had mentioned, there is a house diagonally across the street. It's 65 Duck Pond. I'm actually going to show you a picture of this is the approved elevation of this house, and we did take a lot of reference from this house. And if you could see the way the balance of this area is that two-story.
Right, but if you look at the
and
window
that's
wall,
sort of what my client
if you look at the window to wall ratio of what that is or what you're presenting, they're not similar. And let's stick with this. Let's stick with this house for a minute.
Okay.
So let's and then we go to look at, and then I look at the gates. I think are fine, except for I would have an issue with the light fixtures. When I look at your light fixture plan, you've got one traditional fixture, one completely contemporary round fixture with an exposed light bulb. So I think all over the way, the house doesn't know what it wants to be. So I think you need to come back and show us what the house wants to be, but it needs to be brought down and simplified to be more typical to what and harmonious to what we would see in this area of the village and what we would see in the way the house is detailed. That's what I see.
Yeah, I think you got some really good in-depth comments from Mark and the rest of the board, and I would just say that I think you had some really good comments about what the house wants to be and how your clients fell in love with this two-story family room and how you're building around that, and I really appreciate this photo here, where I believe this is kind of what the house wants to be, and if we stick with that, we will probably come back to simplifying all of these ornaments and detailing of the different kinds of pediments, and maybe simplify it down to your original historic reference, which is very sort of Quaker style and fitting to the neighborhood.
Here's a dormer, and there's a dormer in the back over the two-story, that's gotta go. the
Again,
big glass
you're
box.
talking- you're talking
Yeah,
about-
you seriously
you're talking about the
overweighted
dormer here.
overweighted the top
Yeah,
of the
you
house.
cannot
yeah.
have that, I'm sorry. It just, it doesn't make any
But see,
sense.
and then I look at your light fixture here doesn't actually match your rendering at all. If that's the garage door
Mhm.
light fixture you're looking at, and
All right, I'll make sure
it
that.
seems kind of inconsistent with the rest of the house.
Okay, that's a detail we
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
I would also say to Susan's point of that back section of the two-story living room, I would address the window-to-wall relationship there before the next meeting, because it'll just be a call-out for next one.
Is there an actual formula, or is
There
it
is a
just that you
formula,
want
isn't
a
The-
more?
There's sort of a recommendation, but we try not to be too prescriptive to it. But when they're overblown, we generally look at, like, I don't want to put a number out, but smaller than what you have, because I don't want to be prescriptive on that. Are there comments from the public?
And then, are there balconies outside in the back here?
There are doors. They're not walkable balconies. Basically,
I
I call
see,
them
okay.
a railing balcony. So it's more to be able to get a door element
Open.
into the room without actually having
Yeah,
a
yeah.
balcony.
Okay, just asking. But then, is this on the,
I know it's a lot of feedback, but I'd rather have you.
Yeah,
I'd
there's-
rather have
Oh,
you.
no,
leave,
no,
I'd rather
I-
have
I-
you leave here knowing exactly
wanna
what we
go back
feel
to my
about
client
everything
with,
versus
you know,
And then-
versus having to come back as
recommendations.
many times. So.
over, hiding in the shadow on the, I have no idea, the right, in the back elevation. So there's the round window section, correct?
Yep.
The next
This
over
is the
are
garage.
two,
Two over two.
two
That's
and
actually
two, but
that,
then
that's
there's a
actually.
little one to the left of the top two.
Yeah, that's those. Are you referring to these windows here?
Yeah,
Yeah. There's a secondary stair behind those windows.
yeah, okay, and
Yeah.
then there's another thin rectangular to the left before
This
the
is
bump out, the house
and
bumps
this is where
out,
the
right?
pool is.
Yeah, that's
What's that for?
it's a dead end hallway that we wanted to get light into.
I don't think that helps
Okay.
the look,
Mhm.
the symmetry of the house, but,
Yeah, I also just one comment.
yeah.
In terms of trying to be
Yeah, I mean,
helpful
I
for
know it's not
Nina, can you pull the mic
is,
over?
this stripe here, it almost looks like it's a insertion of this big hole. If you had more
Seems like.
of the look that would look like two perforations within the shingle facade as opposed to one big glass. I think
Okay.
if this was shingle, it would help the
But you
visually
want-
to.
If you're at your.
Where's
Soften-
place,
soften it
it's
up.
Double height,
hard
yeah.
for you,
Okay.
yeah. Nice, really.
All right,
So-
well, I'll certainly go back to my
Ah,
client.
And I have
okay.
one more, just quick comment. I know it's a big piece of property, it's 2 acres,
Yeah, 2 acres. Yep.
but it does look like the pool is very close to the driveway, and that would be, the last thing I would want is to be sitting out at that pool and having cars pulling in
I
and
think
out.
we learned from the other
We can't
application
say
that's not in
that.
our purview.
Oh, it's not in our purview, okay.
I wish it were.
Believe me, if my client had more property, he would love to spread things out more. I can guarantee.
Well, maybe
that.
you want to think of the landscape plan there.
And again, pool is positioned, for sun angles and stuff. But again, we'll.
It's 20
So do you think that when you talk to your client, do you want us to adjourn this to? Would you like to adjourn this to the
We would like to adjourn, yes.
26th?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to motion to accept the applicant's request to adjourn 8 Duck Pond Lane till January 26th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Right.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you. Okay, next up is 258 White Street LLC. Do you have the affidavits and are they in order?
Yes and yes.
I'm supposed to be impressed. I remember the last 3 times.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Dan Kissinger, DK Architectural Design.
Great. Dan, do me a favor and become very good friends with that microphone. Okay.
And I believe we need to start with the demolition of the existing house. If you have the submitted permit requirements for the demolition. House was built in 1963, and there's no architectural value
Yep.
to the house.
I still like it.
I still like it, but is it a house that you would landmark?
No, but,
Okay.
you know, it's just changes.
I wouldn't landmark it.
It changes everything when every
Yeah.
little house like that goes.
I know.
But that's probably my era too,
Yeah.
you know.
It's funny,
When
because
was it built?
three down, yeah.
63?
1963, correct.
Yeah, no wonder.
Okay, so I'm going to motion that the Architecture Review Board will not seek landmarking for the existing house at 258 White Street. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, and to start with the house, I'd like to give you guys the landscape plan that we came up with. Do I have to give it to someone to stamp in?
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Over there. Alex.
Is this something that you provided to the board
Yes.
before?
No, this is new tonight.
This is new today.
So it hasn't been seen
Hasn't
yet?
been submitted.
Okay, we could take it in and mark that it's received at the meeting, but the board typically requires
We
it to
talked
be
about
in
it?
advance.
So the house is from the front, doesn't look so big.
Is this
You know,
also
this
new,
is
or is
completely different.
They look so
Okay.
ragged, mostly they died, that's why they were green giants. One of my biggest pet peeves, actually. I like the house.
Okay,
The
to
backyard.
start with my spiel. The house is 2,865 square feet gross floor area. And we're going for a two-story structure here, but in beginning the design process with this to try to limit the scale of the house, I know with the board, scale is a big issue with this, with the neighborhood and everything. So what we tried to do was limit the amount of square footage on the second floor. So reducing the second floor and adding it to the first floor. We have a first floor of 2,000 square feet, and the second floor is around 748 square feet. The lot coverage of this property is 3,394 square feet, keeping green space around 47.8%. Okay. Another way of trying to reduce the scale of the house is where we brought the maximum building height down. We're at 28 feet 5 inches instead of the maximum 30 feet. So roof materials that we have on this house is an Alaskan yellow cedar, all natural, and it's going to gray over time, which is what you see in the rendering. We have,
Looks painted white, that's gray?
I'm sorry, that's the roof.
Oh, okay.
The roof,
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
is natural.
Okay.
The siding is Maybach white cedar, painted white. Trim is all white AZEK. Gutters are going to be an aluminum K-style gutter to try to give it some character with the, it kind of looks like crown molding going around. Windows are double hung windows, and we have a 4/1 mullion pattern, which to my understanding is pretty common in the village of Southampton. And we have our entry door is painted a different color to just give it some accented coloring. The color is going to be swimmingly blue, is what it's called.
Swimmingly blue?
Yes, yes.
Because, like,
Makes me say
seafoamy
indubitably.
blue? What is, like,
Makes me say indubitably. Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, so a lot of the mass and scale was brought down, reducing the size of the second floor. You'll see most of that in like the back of the house, the side of the house. Obviously, a stairwell leading to the second floor has to be a two-story element. which you see when you're looking at the front elevation. It's to the right side. That element had to be a two-story element to show the stairs going up.
More?
Same thing, bigger.
And we would be
versions of
open
what you
to
already have.
any comments from the board.
Okay.
So, the windows are not real wood?
They're going to be Marvin Elevate, so it's the fiberglass with wood in
Yeah.
interior.
So it is wood.
Wood interior.
Oh, interior.
Yeah.
That's what's going.
Board members.
I'm not going first. Just saying, somebody else.
Quinn?
Or Quinn.
Anyone?
Oh,
Talk, okay.
Go ahead, Quinn.
Well, let's just go to the big thing first. Talk to us about this back porch terrace. Front's pretty straightforward.
Okay, so
but then I get to the back and I have a big postmodern terrace.
Thing.
Okay, yeah, so the back porch was to bring some living space, just have a natural shingles on top. We're gonna open it up with some type of truss construction on the face of it. That's all open, there's no screening on that, there's no windows on this area over here. It's just all open to the
But those windows look like they're right on the back section the same way.
windows back here are matching the same
Triangle.
pattern. Yeah, polygon style windows.
Polygon.
Mhm. So we have a cathedral ceiling in the living space beyond.
And then like none of these doors or windows have mullions on.
All plain.
You know, they're a little. You're consistent until I get there.
Okay.
And I would say the same thing about the bay window at the top, second floor, off center.
Oh, okay. You have to.
No mullion glass slabs. I do think it's a charming scale of
I
the
love the
house.
front
It
of the
feels
house.
Really,
The front of the house just
Yeah.
looks like old school Southampton, and
and that little side door, love
yeah,
that.
yeah. Don't like the parking in the beginning of the house, so is that necessary?
So for parking regulations, did I show
How many bedrooms?
the bedroom count, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to count that again.
Well, here it is on this. There's 1, 2. It's got a garage. That's 3.
It's not that big a
4.
house.
6 bedrooms.
What are
So
some in the
Jeff-
bathroom? I mean, in the
So
the
he has-
basement?
Yeah,
So
there's
he has
2 in the
to have
basement.
five-
Two
yeah,
in the
five
basement, that's where,
cars.
that's what, yeah.
Yes.
What?
No, that's right. Yeah, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can stack one car. That'd be the 5th car there.
Well, I love the front of the house. I think it really looks very iconic Southampton, but I agree with Quinn that the back of the house just seems to have a conundrum going on with too many different elements. I definitely think the bay window looks odd, just doesn't seem to fit in with the rest of the house. And
It looks funny dated. That.
yeah,
like
yeah,
a add-on.
dated, yeah. And what are these are doors, 3 doors or?
So it's a 4-panel door system, yes.
Oh, and it like all opens up?
The two The two center
It's a
slide?
slider, so only the 2 panels in the middle slide to the side.
Okay. That seems to be a little excessive in that tiny little neighborhood to have that much glass in the back of the house.
Okay. Yeah, I think if we were to make it smaller, I think we would have to modify the truss
Oh,
Mhm.
design.
well, seeing how's that
here.
truss design's
It's a
not
problem.
receiving favorable treatment anyway.
Right.
Sure.
And
Maybe
I
that's all
have
put
to
together.
mention that your landscape plan looks like your arborvitae on both sides. I think that's really, you don't want to just stack one type of tree all the way along the side and not give it any space to grow. It can grow 60 feet tall, and it just becomes like a wall. And I feel like for that neighborhood, you don't want to just wall everything in. So I would say look at something else for landscaping, other than arborvitae.
So the existing hedge that's on the west side, it looks to be about 6 feet tall at the moment?
I'm sorry, I
That one.
gave you guys every.
This one, Carol, sorry, that one. So that's the existing hedge between you and the neighbor. That's about, looks to be 6 to 7 feet.
Yes, I believe we're keeping that hedgerow the way it is.
Looks in good shape, so.
Are we?
Okay.
Aye.
Rendering.
The rendering does, the rendering, that's unfortunate.
I'm
Yeah.
John Wines.
I'm sorry?
I'm John Wines.
Okay.
With Beachhead. I'm the applicant, or the agent for the applicant.
Okay.
In terms of the landscaping plan, we've been debating a lot of issues, because in the front section on the west side, there's hedge. And on the west side, there's nothing. And in the back, there's nothing. And so we have a problem with the 60 or 70 foot tall Leland cypress. So what we've done is we've engaged Landelier Design, which is an award-winning landscape architect, and we've also engaged Bartlett Tree to come in and assess what to do about the west side of the property. And in the meantime, we're using Daria with Landelier to try to find the right mix of plantings in order to get some privacy on the property without walling it in.
Mm-hmm.
We did another project around the corner successfully, and it's a real battle to try to find the right mix of privacy. So what you see on there is a preliminary thing with arborvitae, but we actually have
You have existing
looks like a
hedge.
mixed privet on the
Yeah,
side.
we
yeah.
have
That is the mix he's talking about. Yeah, that's all wooded
let's-
here.
can we-
And so that's going to be
We
in
have
the
a
way of this driveway?
list of plants that are 40 pages long of things to try to work into that landscape plan. So the preliminary thing is to find, to create some sense of privacy for the neighbors without overwhelming it, because right now the Leland cypress on the west side overwhelm the property, and we have to figure out how to
And
deal
a
with it.
lot of people on that street, I mean, it's a very unique street, White Street. A lot of people just went in and clear cut, and that
Well-
is like not recommended
So-
on our point of view. It's
So
not.
the thing with this property is there isn't a house directly behind this. However, there's the balance of privacy, because whoever is in this house will want to have privacy in their backyard when they're sitting at the swimming pool. And what do you put in there that's evergreen and will look good year-round? Because if you put privet hedge in, that turns to sticks all winter long. So the plant list is used as to try to pick out the right balance of things to, create
Right.
the screening, but still, maintain the, the openness of the area. And so it's a tough balance, but it's one that we did around the corner on Henry Street, We had a plant mix that we started in one section where it was needed to be private. We made them a little taller, but the intent was to maintain it at around an 8 to 10 foot height so that it didn't become one great big wall, because we don't like that. You know, we're hiring top, name architect to try, a landscape architect to try to do something that's good for the neighborhood. The purpose of the house, the front of the house, was to keep that village neighborhood appeal to it and look. The purpose of the back was because we don't have a lot of windows on the back of the house. The bay window up on the second floor, there's a tub on the other side of it, and it could be a different kind of window. But once you go to that open window in the middle, where do you put the panes? How do you divide it into lights that look like the rest of the windows? And so it's a battle to try to find those different things. As far as the porch is not terribly deep. But it is about 12 to 15 feet deep. So any light coming from the living room or from that family room will disappear. We intentionally didn't put a balcony on that, and we didn't put skylights on it because we know the board doesn't like skylights.
Well, let me ask you a question. How married are you to this house being white? Can I tell you why? White Street is a unique street. And when going down that street, several of these small houses have gone away, and other houses have gone. 222 is a natural white. It has white panels across the front of it, 222, and the house that's next door is a gray house with white trim. I think one of the things that makes the massing here look a little larger against the size and scale of the rest of the neighborhood is the fact that when you paint it white, it even gains and gets bigger. So part of me feels like if you could figure out another color besides white.
If you told me red cedar shingles would be okay, we'd probably be happy doing that. So we had an internal debate about that.
Either Alaskan yellow, red, any of it. I just think taking it away from white visually takes the house back down a little bit. My comments for the front, I appreciate that I appreciate the columns are in the right place or at the edge. I appreciate that they're not in front of windows. I think that's good. I think I echo some of the concerns that you're hearing about. This is a quibble. I think the trim and the trim around the side lights feels a little heavy, but that's just a quibble. But I think the whole truss idea and truss window idea across the back is sort of disharmonious to the house and to the neighborhood. So I think you need to rethink that a little bit. The trim detail in how the columns have been rendered with the panel and the trim on them, I think is really great. I am in agreement with the board members that that bay window looks like a renovation.
Yeah.
So I think even if it's a tub behind it, I think of another solution there. I agree that you're 401 everywhere until suddenly you're not. So I think if you figure out how to bring those 4 panel, whether it's some.
Why do you need the 4 panels?
Well, they're 4 panels sliding, but I think if you break them down into panes versus big sheets of glass, they'd be more harmonious to the rest of the house. I just think the truss detail, that very contemporary truss detail, is a bit jarring. And even in the rendering, you've done it where it doesn't look white, where it looks to be a darker color. It really looks a little more harmonious to the neighborhood. To be with you.
What's just out of curiosity? You said a different color. What color?
I'm not going to prescribe the color.
No, I mean, do you have a?
No, I have an opinion I have an opinion that I feel like a white house is disharmonious to the neighborhood. I think if you look at 222, if you look at 226, if you look at some of the other new builds, there's some other colors. Pick one that you like, and if a natural cedar or natural shingle is always great. Just it would feel less bulky and less visual in the neighborhood if it were smaller. And of the windows that are facing, I guess, west on the second story, those are all bedrooms?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think we have a letter and some concern, and I think we're going to have a discussion here in a minute with a neighbor about the screening about the house in general. So those will be my comments. For the most part, I think you've done a great job. I think what you're hearing is your porch in the back is not working, color consideration, and your bay window looks like a renovation.
Okay.
I do appreciate the fact that you've managed to get the one-car garage in a usable space in the back of the property, which is more typical to what we've seen in older homes in the neighborhoods, and I think it makes it fit into the neighborhood nicely. Okay, anybody else? Are there questions from the public? Are there comments from the public?
Yes.
While Jeff comes up, just wanted to confirm, you're providing 4 parking spaces on the site plan?
You need 5.
The garage, one in front of it, one next to the garage,
And 2 in the
two in
turnout.
the front. So I
Okay.
think we can get 5.
Understood. Okay, the plan that I'm looking at didn't show anything in front of the garage. I just wanted to highlight that you can use that as a
Yeah,
space.
I think as long as you only have to move one car.
As long as you,
Well,
right.
I
yes, so
think the
can
issue is you
stack.
need to render one more car into your rendering.
Into
Your
the site.
rendering shows 4 where you need to show 5.
Okay.
Jeff?
Hello, hi. My name is Jeff Broadleib, and my wife and I reside at 166 Halsey Street, and we are one of the properties that has been notified. Thank you, John, for notifying us. And this is a street and neighborhood that is in transition, and both the board and the applicant have recognized that, and I appreciate that. My 2 concerns are with scale and screening. Some of those issues have been addressed this evening. I think Mark's suggestion about changing the color from white to natural shingle will mitigate the bulkiness of it, I think was your word.
Sounds like a
Also,
wedding,
white, and the house they did on 54 Henry Street is a beautiful house, and well done and well landscaped. But I think a white house on this street will be a little bit commercial looking as well. So I think that's a good suggestion. I know Dan spoke to his concern about the scale as well. And while I appreciate the dimensions that he laid out, I didn't quite see it in the renderings, especially when you looked at the top-down renderings with the roof line, and then there was a rendering from the east looking south. There was a rendering, and it looked like the dormer on the east side of the house came out. Now, maybe that was just a fact of the rendering. Do you have that one, Dan? Or
So
I
this
should
straight-
speak to the board. Does the board have that?
I think that is a factor of the rendering, Jeff.
Yeah, it might very well be. Has the board, and you perhaps can ask the applicant, the setback from the street? Many of those houses are set back, I think, 48 feet. I was wondering what this...
The setback is 30 feet, and this is actually set 32 feet back.
Well, I know what the code is.
The code, right.
I know what the code is,
I'm
but
sorry,
many of
Jeff,
the,
you
can't have you
sorry,
converse.
many of those. Thank you, Alice. Many of those houses are set back. The ranches are set back about 40 to 48 feet. So, in terms of mitigating the scale, maintaining that setback beyond the 30-foot required would help mitigate the impression of being heavy to the street. So I was just asking the board if they were aware of what the setback is.
I don't think that's.
I think they're aware that this-
We were just told.
I think they're aware that
This is
the- yeah.
the lesson
No, aware of it. I just wondered what it was. It didn't come up in discussion. So what is the setback?
tonight. We're not supposed to be discussing that, actually. It's a.
Well, how a property is placed on this street
Turns out
is,
Alex.
has
I
an
think Jeff
impact
was-
on how
I-
it
Jeff,
scales.
I
I'm
think
not
was-
saying you can
yeah.
regulate it.
No, I think
No,
I said pools and tennis courts aren't in your purview.
Right.
I think what's relevant here is.
I was just curious. I'm
Alex,
asking the
hang on,
question.
Alex, the setback would be 30 feet, correct?
That's the minimum front yard setback under the zoning ordinance for
Right.
a primary.
Okay, so.
And I was just asking what the setback is on this particular, of this
it's 32
structure.
It's 32 feet.
32 feet.
Right, and the existing house as it currently stands is at 48.6 based
Right.
on the survey.
That's what I was
That's
saying.
true.
So, one way to reduce, if scale is concerned, one way to reduce scale is by pushing it further back, so the perception to the street would be less. So to the extent that scale is a concern, I would ask that the board and the applicants consider perhaps moving it further back. And that would also address Jane's concern to some extent of the presence of the parking. The parking would still be there, but there would be more openness. And in addition to more openness, there would also be the impression of less scale because the house would be further set back. Be that as it may, something for the board to consider. The screening, there was not a landscaping plan that was submitted. I'm glad the applicant has done so. Again, on Henry Street, they did a great job of landscaping, beautiful laurels in the front. So I'm sure they're capable of doing that as well. In my letter that I submitted, while there's not a house abutting it, but there's open space. This was all farmland. And when it was developed in the 60s, all the properties, in fact, the 3 or 4 properties behind this to the south, were all left open. So there's a clear shot without, and in fact, I think one of their pictures that they submitted from an aerial view shows that it's all open. So 2 things. One, the rear is visible without screening. And then unless there is screening that is evergreen, the light emissions from whatever fenestration there may be are very visible 3 and 4 houses over. And I took night pictures that I did not submit to the board, but you can imagine it's very much open. So I'd like to have the opportunity, and the board has just received a landscaping plan to be part of its submission, and I don't know what it is. So to the extent that that's going to be available for the public to look at in the file,
We will put it in the file.
yeah, and then that way the neighbors can also have a shot at looking at it. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
The one comment I'll make that I'm appreciating is you seem to be aware of the screening consideration the house needs, and you're still investigating a little bit to figure out and you're asking the right people for what the right answer is. In the meantime, we will put the landscape plan into the file so the neighbors can take a look at it. And if based on your investigations it updates, you will update the landscaping file, and that'll come into the plan as well.
But you need to get that in by deadline,
Before.
right, Alex?
By the Tuesday at noon, in hard copy and digital.
I'm sorry,
For
what day is
a
it?
Monday meeting, it's the Tuesday prior
Tuesday
at
before.
noon. Yeah, so for the 26th, I believe it's the 20th. And we also will need a digital copy of what was submitted tonight.
Correct, okay.
And the one thing I think I would ask is not a requirement, but I think you've heard a neighbor's concern about depth from the street from 32, and just I would ask you to think about that if there's a possibility.
That creates a dilemma.
Right. I don't think you have to answer it tonight.
And-
I'm just asking you to consider
Right.
it.
We'll talk about it.
And in the meantime, we should also do our research to find out for the new houses on the street, 222 and 226, what the setback for those houses are, because as this neighborhood's in tradition, things are changing, but we'll figure out what that is as well.
Another
So-
consideration you and the board may want to consider is the board has sometimes approved front yard parking like that when it's required by code as geo-block pavers, and that will also increase your green space requirement, because that counts as 50% towards green space.
Thanks
So
for adding that.
So
Alex.
something to think about as you're amending your landscape
Yeah,
plan.
it really does change how it looks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
huge.
it
makes
looks-
a
it looks
huge
more
difference
green
in-
and-
Yeah.
Okay, so you've heard a lot of comments. Are there any other comments from the public? Okay. So can you be ready for the 26th?
Yes.
Okay. So then you'd like us to go to the 26th?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to motion to accept the applicant's request for adjournment for 258 White Street to January 26th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up is 29 Corrigan Street. Do you have the affidavits, and are they in order?
Yes.
That's 4. introduce yourself, please,
Yep.
sir?
I'm Zach Clanahan. I represent the client at 29 Corrigan Street.
Okay.
And I think before we dig into the materials, I think it's worth getting a little bit of context of where we're starting and what we're trying to attempt here. The client had reached out to me to tackle two obstacles. One was to make the existing rear structures feel more unified to the primary residence, and the primary structure, which kind of has a bungalow shingle style feel to it, and then also to kind of rehabilitate the existing structures as well. And then on top of that, also make it more kid-friendly, because they have two small children.
Okay.
And so they're attempting to, if we go to the next page here, in the ARB package, it's over. They're attempting to change this existing garage and pull the gravel driveway further to the road and create more green space in the back, more of a yard for the kids to play. And so then I guess that leads us to our rendering here. This arbor is the separation of the new location for the...
Hold.
Yep.
Which package am I
Yeah,
looking at?
really, we're not.
We're all
Oh,
like
I'm
confused
sorry.
up here. Yes.
I guess if you go to the next page in the packet where it's...
There are two
Which
packets here.
one?
Which one are you starting with? This one or this one?
I am starting with the ARB packet. I'm sorry, the others is the
This
set of the plans.
Okay.
Yep.
Which one? This one.
Okay.
Sorry, I was going a little too fast.
We're all the, okay.
This is
Okay.
Flanahan did that.
Okay, gotcha.
And so there is an arbor
This page.
existing already on the south, and so we're just going to match that arbor to the north and separate the gravel driveway to the new green space in the back new yard.
Okay.
And this kind of gives you an idea of what people on the street would see. This is really the straight shot in through the driveway. And you can see in this picture here, we're kind of picking up on the shutters. We're going to match the shingle color and exposure and match the trim. The shingles would be red cedar stained or maybe painted to match the existing. The shutters will match the existing color. Trim will be AZEK primed and painted, or maybe Arbol. We're not sure yet. So then I think what we'll do is go to the backyard so you can kind of see what we're attempting to do. If you go to the, I would maybe have you go 2 pages in the packet, which is this one.
Okay.
And you let me know when you're there.
Okay.
You can see the existing pergola that's there. There's a lot of vines, so it's a little hard to see everything that's going on, but it is just a basic gable with a garage door and the existing terrace that's there. And so as we go to the rear rendering, you can see that our new pergola is going to match the exact same footprint, the exact same heights. We're going to match the same roof line. We're not changing the shell at all. You can see we're adding a pool, and it's a wading pool for the kids. It's 4 foot deep. And so it kind of creates a challenge for circulation. So we're adding this deck to the rear from the main house so that they can circulate around the pool. And there's going to be a door here and a bifold door here so that anyone visiting or the children can circulate around the pool.
How do you fence the pool? How do you fence the pool?
The pool fence is a good question. The pool fence is what I was just showing in the previous rendering. That is the pool code fence.
I'm actually wondering where you put the child fence around the pool.
The child, well, there'll be pool code sensors, and there is also a retractable cover for it as well. And I'm sure they're going to put one of those motion sensing pool
I think you have
alarms.
You gotta talk to the building department about this.
As far as pool code fences, there's a pool code fence on the south and on the north.
But I would suggest you talk to the, it could just, before you get going, because it's not a negotiable thing if it's not correct.
I can show it to you on the site plan if you want.
No, I just think there might be
yeah.
other rules about it that have to do with how that's opposition. I'm not the expert.
Okay.
But you also don't want your children to drown,
Of
just
course.
pointing that out.
No, of course
That's
not.
good.
There will be.
How
the-
deep is
It's
this
4
wading pool?
feet, it
4
doesn't
feet?
matter if
It's
it's
4
2
foot deep,
feet.
but yeah, I agree with you. There will be pool code alarms on the doors adjacent to the pool.
Yeah, see, I think there's more to it than that.
What's the separation between the back of the house and the pool?
Yeah,
How many
one question,
feet?
is that 5 feet?
There's no, there's not a 5-foot separation. It's adjacent to the structure itself. So the pool, the gunite will go up against the foundation of the existing
I don't
structure.
think you can do that.
For built structures, it's 5 feet, but for a pool, I don't believe there's separation.
I do.
I checked with building department. They said there's no separation.
Okay.
Between
Okay.
accessory structure, foundation, and pool, there's no separation.
No. I know buildings have to be 5 feet for fire code, but I don't think pools have to.
I do.
I do.
Really?
Yeah, we're not the, we're not the
I can check.
rule.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm
Because
just
I had
saying,
reviewed this with Chris
I
already.
think this is an unusual
Okay.
situation.
Oh, it totally is. It's
And
very
before
tight.
we get going, we need to make sure that it's legal.
The two door,
Well-
That's on the building department.
yeah, that's the building department's
but-
job.
I had already done a
The,
peer review with
but-
Chris.
But my question is, the two windows facing the pool and the pool house, those are not operable doors, correct? Those are
Correct.
just windows.
Correct, those are fixed.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
And
I
we
think
can get
it-
to that in the plan if you want me to go to the plan next.
Okay.
But I thought it was good to start here just
Yeah,
to
but
see
why don't we-
how.
Okay, why don't we go now to the plan and go elevation by elevation?
Sure.
'Cause I do think Alice is correct, you have to be 5 feet from the structure for the pool.
I'll check, I'll double
Yeah.
check with Chris. I had done actually twice we met on this one, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can check again.
Okay.
Well, my pool's pretty close to my house, and if it rains cats and dogs, you have to think about where the water's going. Just saying.
Definitely, this is,
I have a
lot of the
pump.
pool contractors already have been like,
Oh.
hey, this is not your normal pool.
Oh,
This
okay.
is not gonna be, an easy
Yeah,
install.
no, there's just
for
stuff
sure.
like that.
So this walkway that's attached on the back of the house is 5 feet deep, 5 feet wide.
Oh,
The deck,
The deck.
correct,
Okay.
yes. Yep.
Okay, so let's go
So here's
elevation
the
by
floor plan.
elevation.
If this is, I don't know if this is, but yeah, it's good.
Remember, the microphone is your friend.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the pool footprint. This is the walkway.
Okay.
So one would come out of the main house, which are with the existing doors, come down. There's going to be
Can you
two.
go to the elevations and let's just
Sure.
walk around the
Oh, yeah,
outside of
sure.
this house?
Yep.
there's a lot of pieces of paper.
Yeah, and tell us what number you're on.
What number are we
Yeah,
on,
what
two
number?
something?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's page A201.
Okay, there
You're
we
gonna
go.
face
A
those plans
201?
towards you.
Page A201.
Okay, S103, where's it?
201, got it.
So this is the existing
Okay,
There we go.
east elevation.
Yep,
This is the
there we go.
proposed.
Okay,
This is the existing south elevation. You can see the pre-existing nonconformance there, and we're matching that pre-existing nonconformance in both pergola and in gable.
okay. Okay, on A202.
And then A202, you can see the back of the existing, and then the proposed, and the pergola profile. And
So
then,
you're really just cleaning up the back and putting a walkway across it.
correct,
Okay,
yeah. We're basically maintaining all the pre-existing nonconformance.
good.
And here to your question, Susan, this is one of the pool code fences on this side, and we're matching it on the other side. So that is a pool code compliant fence on both sides. So that does help mitigate movement back and forth. But I get your point about the kids circulating from the main house. I know they're going to be conscious of that.
uh-huh. It's just fine, like, I'm not supposed to, I don't think it's something you can ignore, that's all,
Having child myself, I agree.
yeah.
Okay, and there are no changes that front or the,
Nothing to the main house.
Okay, so all of your changes are on the west elevation?
That's correct.
Wow, you are tuned in.
Okay. All right, board members.
The west elevation is page A202. Just trying to focus on the right elevation here.
This is the west elevation
Print is so small.
How about
in the corner.
Do we know the age of this house?
I don't know the age of the primary house. I think the garage is a newer vintage than the main house, just based on the detailing of it.
Mhm.
were there any houses on Colgan Street?
When I originally looked at it, I didn't realize there was a pool there. When I just was skimming the plans, and I just thought, how odd to put this modern-looking, just like straight deck in the back of the house.
Oh,
not
okay.
realizing that there was a pool there, and
There
that
was
was the
water in
reason
it?
for the
Right.
deck. Yes.
Right. And the gunite
just-
edge goes right up to the edge
Yes,
of the
and
deck
so I didn't
itself.
realize that, and I was just like, this is kind of odd. Why would you even want that to
Right.
run along the back of your house?
Right.
But
Well, didn't we see that?
Yes, we saw a plunge pool that went into the U of a very small lot on,
North Main Street.
no,
Oh.
I'll think of it in a minute. But it was that Lucy house and had a pool right in the middle of it. It was all up against the windows.
I don't remember that.
My only comment would be, I think that the size of the size of the glass in the pool house is about 20% too big in its coverage. I would bring down the size of the sliders heading out to the patio. I think they're kind of larger than we normally have looked at because it's almost completely glass wall.
And just so I'm clear, which
on the pool house facing the patio, the big one, the sliders.
these four here?
Yep, the gang sliders seem almost wall to wall in the rendering. I'm talking about that one right there.
Oh, the ones to the south.
Yeah,
Okay.
the ones to the south.
So that is a bifold system?
Yep.
So they would stack all the way to the
Yep.
back?
I think that's wonderful if the overall, but they need to be brought in about 20% in scale.
Okay.
And I don't care if they stack back or not. I just think what you have is an entire wall of glass. And what the other kind of buildings that we've looked at, we've not approved things that have that much exposed glass. And then I think when you scale that back, you would match the scale by bringing the windows down facing the pool, just equal proportion. I just think that to me is a little large. Other than that, I think for what you're trying to do, I think it's successful. The pool situation's unusual, but you're just trying to push it into two existing structures is what you're trying to do without having
And
to
also the
move
pool
them.
setbacks.
And the
They're
pool-
right up against the
and
setbacks.
pool setbacks.
Yeah. Would you be okay if I just go to a 4-panel and just leave one side shingled there to stack it against that? Would that
What
help?
I'm telling you is, this is just my opinion, the other
Yeah.
board members have their own, but that entire back wall is wall-to-wall glass.
Right.
So if it comes in 2 feet on either side, not even so much the height as the width. and
Okay.
the height down it.
So he's saying he would take
It would
a
reduce
quarter
it.
of it away, is that correct?
I'd take one of the panels away, so
Right.
that would be 20% reduction if
If
that's
that
okay.
works, that
All
works.
right,
And that,
I
and
like
that'll,
how it looks, that's
yeah.
my problem. But
Okay.
okay, I don't think it needs all of it.
okay.
Yeah, I
think
think
it
they'd be
looks-
fine with losing one of the panels. It's still
Yeah,
enough circulation.
Actually,
I think
Yeah.
it looks good. Like the overall, it's kind of a wow effect. But I think you might look to the original house, and it has a certain charm to it that gets lost on a wall of glass.
Understood.
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It was it was a challenging project.
I would
It
say.
was.
You think?
How many pool companies have you interviewed?
Oh, no.
No,
And how many are willing to look at it?
No one.
Yeah, because this is
I
tricky.
guess I can't name names, but
No.
there are several that are,
Yeah, don't
are
name
bidding on it.
Mike.
Yeah.
I need number, not names. But I was like, because you're right up against foundations of houses and one thing and another. But
That has been, Delandro's doing the engineering on it, so they're coming up with the structure and how to work.
okay. And I guess what you're hearing from the board is just a suggestion. You go
Sure.
back one more time to the building department to make sure
Yeah.
Yep.
that you're totally
Straighten it out.
that you're totally within code before you start building.
I will check that.
So the window adjustment would be my one comment. Anybody else? Anything?
I'm down with the window adjustment. I think it's cool.
Okay, yeah.
But
I think you've managed to get it on, then curb appeal would be great, yeah. Any comments from the public? All right, do you think you can bring a updated version by the 26th?
Definitely.
Okay.
And just so I'm clear, you're okay with these 4 facing the house? You just want me to take this one panel off of this one, right? I just want to make sure that I'm not missing that. So the east view looks good. It's just this one you want me to decrease down? Okay, so I'll make one panel disappear.
All right, so motion to accept the applicant's request for adjournment to January 26th for 29 Corrigan Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is 234 Wickapog Road. Do you have the affidavits and are they in order?
Yes.
Here we go.
5.
See, that's the guy who did a thing on. He took out the back of the house on, like by White Street, Cooper's Farm.
Oh.
There was that thing. This is the guy who fixed that. It's amazing.
What is the name of the street?
Cooper's Farm.
No, I'm thinking of the house I'm thinking about.
Oh.
You remember, I didn't think about it. It's John Bennett's.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Mike owns the house next door.
Oh,
It's
Good
a little house on
evening,
the corner.
Lori Fontana
It's an
from
old
McDonough and
process.
Conway Architects.
Evening.
Good evening. So the project before you tonight is to add a new front 5 foot by 4 foot, 5 foot 4 inches front porch to the left front of the house, and to deal with the new aesthetic to the front of the house.
That's what they This is where they asked for
So,
It's right.
I'm sorry. So the existing house is a single gambrel with 2 doghouse dormers on the front, and the client would prefer that that there would be. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it in here. I'm trying to get my left, right, and center. Sorry. Okay. The only thing that's changing on this is a reconfiguration slightly of the existing gambrel. The bay window stays. We're reducing 1 window on each gambrel on the side, and changing the grill, the balusters on the spindles on the deck, and changing the columns from round to double squares. The house-
And you're changing the color of the
I'm-
house.
and proposing the house to change from natural to a white with, what was the exact term? Delicate white by Sherwin-Williams, and with white trim and black shutters and tricorn black shutters.
So, wasn't this before
Yes.
us not long ago about the
But not
color?
with me.
July 14th, it was in
Yeah.
front of us.
Yes, it was.
I went back and looked.
It was.
Yes.
That's why
So, I
what's,
mean-
what was previously approved is shown below, and what the new proposition is on the top.
And that was previously approved from another architect?
Correct.
Okay. So the only thing is you're changing is the front, the north elevation?
So the north elevation and what transports to, since
Then it goes
all of the
around. Okay.
round columns are being changed to square, and the ballast, the railing and the, I can't get my words today, sorry.
That's okay.
And the spindles on the railings are changing to a pattern.
And the porch is extending.
Yes, and the new porch
porch is
in
very
front of,
big.
to the left
It's going
side.
below.
And then if you go to the back, it's again changing out the columns, the round ones to the square ones. On the south side and on the west side, it's showing the double gambrel in the front. And then on the east side, again, we're showing it from the left angle, looking at the gambrels coming out and changing the column, the round column to a square.
Okay, board members.
It basically looks like a different house because you're changing the color and you're adding so many more details that it just seems to me that I understand that you have the rendering. We only have.
You do have the rendering.
We only.
There's a rendering.
Oh, we do have a
You
rendering.
have all the renderings. I've also added in there a streetscape showing that the block is very eclectic. There's also 3 other houses that are white. Two that,
They're already there,
well, this house is already there too.
Yeah.
but it wasn't white. It
No,
was
they get- they
changed.
No,
get-
it was not.
They gave us for white last time, and we said no, and now they're asking for white again.
Well, guess what? Okay.
I have no
Is it-
idea
is
what
it,
happened in the past.
When I look at your, actually, the drawings, the elevations, the shingle pattern that's in the,
Oh, it's diamond
is
pattern on
diamond,
the
but when I
Oh,
look at your
I
rendering, it
have
almost looks like
See that-
contemporary parquet. Is that just a, is
No,
that-
it's
is
the
that just a-
rendering.
is that-
It's diamond pattern.
Okay, that's a result of the
100%.
rendering.
It's
Okay.
it's the rendering.
I just went through all my.
And are the shutters operable?
This house already has existing shutters. We're just continuing the same shutters. They do have the hinges on them, and they will have the tie backs.
Okay. My first comment is I don't think the house works in white. I think it gives it too much presence, and I think some of the changes we can talk about, but I think the one change that I find difficult is the house being white. For the same thing, I think it takes too much. I think it takes too much focus. It brings the house forward, and I think it, especially in this style of house, a natural shingle house, which is what was approved before, would be more appropriate. As for the overall change, I don't know that I have a whole lot of issues with the overall changes.
Really?
It's kind of fancified a little bit. I think there's a whole lot of detail going on with the railing now.
Yeah, which,
And the railing
and the
and-
dentals and the
and the-
harlequin.
There's a little one of
And
every
you're
in there.
adding 2 gambrels here?
I think I'm on to the previously approved. I don't like this. I think it's too grand for a small house like that, white, everything.
Just for the record, this is an image of the street, which has fully matured hedges.
No.
So the
but
view from the street is
front on.
minimal.
Well, no, that's not true. That's, I don't believe that.
All right, I
Well-
think folks talk about the,
So I think if they want to make, what is the goal to make it bigger, bolder, more? And
The
if
client
that-
would
and-
like a grander feel to the
Grander
house.
feel.
But
So-
the presence of the house, it's not a big front.
Right.
So to me, it just seems, it doesn't work, that's all, to
So the
me.
previously approved drawing has a purity and authenticity to the style that I feel like might be a little overblown in the new version. With the multiple shingle styles, the added dentals, the change of railing.
You went from like very, very, almost too simple, I don't want to say too simple, but very simple to very complex. It wasn't just 1 or 2 changes, it was, I think, a overall
Right,
change
right.
where it's just now a different house.
And to get more impressive, there's ways to do it, maybe without doing so much detail. Maybe it's in scale and volume, which is what you're addressing with adding the gambrel roofs left and right.
Correct. Is it the the 3 gambrels, or is it the,
I think it's the detail within the 3 gambrels, because you've got diamond shingles at the top,
Okay.
then you've got a whole series of molding, and then you've got
Fancy railing.
then the railings, the sort of almost Chippendale railings,
Yep.
is a lot, and when you double up all of the columns, and suddenly the columns become very heavy across the front, is what I'm hearing. So even if you want to move them to square, single square is different than double square all the way across the front.
understood?
And I think that if the railing could be simplified and the detail work at the top of the pediment, at the top of the gambrels might be helpful.
It also got a kind of massiveness
Yeah.
that
And
was the charm of the
double.
previous, was that it had a dignity that was for its size. I actually
Understated,
think
yeah.
for its size is part of the problem, scale.
Yeah.
And that's lost.
Massing, yeah.
And it's in a sensitive place. It's in this historic farm district.
You know, if one column suffices, the idea of putting 2 columns is just, I don't know where that's coming from, if it's examples in the neighborhood, or to me it just seems excessive and not.
It was the client's choice.
Yeah.
We're gonna back you up here.
In a world of form follows function, since in the form below, you've proven that the house can be built with 1 column, the two seems excessive.
Understood.
Yeah.
And Corrigan Street is a.
This
Not
is
Corrigan.
Wickapog.
This is Wickapog.
I'm sorry, Wickapog is, I don't know, I just think in general, as Mark was saying, the principle of form follows function. And the neighborhood character. is-
And you're
That's-
opposed
So
to
it feels like the answer is somewhere between where you were and where you are right
Okay.
now,
And you're opposed to the white?
Absolutely.
opposed to the white.
That's a deal breaker.
I think it's actually, I think it's inconsistent with what we normally see in this kind of architecture in the village. And we've had this in a couple of other places where it doubles the massing of the house to the street. And visually, when they're not white, it reduces the massing to the street. And actually, the houses seem to sit better on the property and in the neighborhood more harmoniously when they're not great big and white. Certain styles of houses are good and white. I don't think this is one of them.
Would you be opposed to let's say, a lighter gray?
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
opposed to a
shingle.
lighter gray?
Yeah,
It was a
I
shingle
think
house.
gray houses are as bad as white houses
Right.
as far
What
as.
happened to the
So your
shingles?
neighbor's gray too, or
Well,
is it
I mean,
shingle?
you do have
But
several
the question
neighbors
is
who
really,
are
what do you think
gray
is
as
compatible
well.
in the neighborhood?
Right,
I,
we're
I
talking,
think the
what I'm looking
singles,
at,
the
right.
shingles are,
shingles are gonna be a lot more compatible with the neighborhood, more harmonious.
You might be the prettiest.
It is shingled, by the
No,
way.
I'm
No.
saying it's
Natural.
natural,
Natural,
natural, not painted.
right, but as it exists now, it's not white. They're renovating this place.
Right.
This isn't from the ground up.
No, it's a renovation.
Yeah, okay.
So just to be clear, 7 houses on this street are painted.
And that
Fine.
means.
That's their
And there's
And-
only 2 on this house, on
Right.
this street, currently, not including ours, that are natural.
One of the things we look for also is to avoid sameness. So,
Understood.
one
It's
of
a
the things we
rule.
have with white houses on this street, this board didn't approve all of them, but we approved some of them, but not all of them. But, I mean, people on this board, me, but, because they're all newer than me. But I think you're hearing that there's not support for this house being white in this location.
Okay, understood.
Are there any comments from the public? So I think that's a good amount to work on. When would you
We
like
have
to
a
come
comment.
back? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, we
you have
need
to
you to
come up
come
and
to
introduce
that.
yourself. Sorry, I missed your hand going up.
James McDonough, also from McDonough Conroe Architects. I work under Lori. I was just curious, just coming up in architecture in the area, it always wonders me. Is it not the white because of historical context, or just because you don't, the boldness of it?
My answer, I'll let other people answer that question. My answer, their own way, my answer would be visual compatibility with the neighborhood. Because
Okay.
there are several white houses, and certain styles of architecture typically in the village are not white houses in certain styles, and also more shingle houses in this location is more appropriate in our opinion.
Okay, yeah, I fully understand that.
Okay.
I sort of brought it up just because I was looking through the history of Southampton Village, and colonial houses, and it seems that typically they were white, and they actually
So-
moved towards a shingle in the
some
20th
of them.
century.
Certain styles of houses
But not
definitely
the
were
style
white, but
of-
not all
the
of them.
house that
Yeah.
we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
Here, first of all, it's not old, right?
Yeah.
It
age of the
isn't.
house.
All right, does that
Yeah,
answer?
That does. I was just curious, and I
That's
appreciate
okay.
the answers.
Of course, we appreciate you asking a question. Thank
So
you.
they're like big white farmhouses, if you go 350, 348, drive down
So I
like a
request an adjournment to
Yes.
the 26th.
Those are
Yes,
the real
so
deal.
so motion to
Okay.
accept the applicant's request for adjournment to the January 26th for 234 Wickapog Road. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, thank you, we got the business done, thank you. Okay, next up is 145 Wickapog Road. Do you have the affidavits in or are they in order?
Yes and yes.
Last but not least.
This is also
Right, we had to
amend.
let that guy do his gate. He sits here.
I
after
actually
time.
appreciated that. Being a guy who would, I sat for the end of
Oh.
it here before.
Oh, yeah,
and,
he-
he definitely deserved to get ahead of me.
He's a very patient man.
He's a nice man.
And occasionally, it's not the right something, and then he has to come back and do it again, so. never
100%.
complain.
I had no problem with that.
Okay, Mr. Tobey, introducing yourself.
Sure. My name is John Tarbett and Lester.
Okay.
We were last before you, probably, maybe it was all last summer. This house itself has been before the board a number of times. The current owner had purchased it, and the house had been under renovation. They finished the renovations, and we came to you just for some cleanup items in the house. And now, for the most part, we're switching our attention to the barn in the back. The barn is a very old barn, hundreds of years, and it really hasn't been kept up. It had not been kept up. It was, before this board previously, neighbors had complained and said, please just do something, it's gonna fall, it's an eyesore. Just before we bought it, somebody did get a permit from you to renovate that barn. And then we bought it, and now we have a building permit based on the previous ARB permit to start renovations. And what we're looking to do is essentially even out some windows and then add some doors on the side.
Are you talking about the barn?
Yeah. Oh, I meant to mention that I have Jeffrey Fine, the architect, with me on Zoom.
Okay.
Just want to make sure he can get in when it's time. He wanted to walk you through the plans.
So what was the historical? Do we have
No,
to
wait a
go
minute.
over this again? Here, so did we?
If memory serves, this was one of the oldest barns in Southampton, and when this house first came in front of us, the requirement was to renovate
So
and
there's,
maintain and preserve the barn, and
think
it was
it's a-
taken back.
I
Or is
think
that-
that's
is
a
that the house-
different
Is that
house.
the house next door?
This might
No,
be
it's
this might be
farther
this
down.
house.
Oh, okay.
It might be this house you're
It might
talking
be
about.
this house?
Yeah, I read through all. I wasn't part of it, but I read through all the records,
So
and it
there's
sounds.
another one farther east that also has a barn in the back?
You did have a 2022 historical report.
We did it, where's
You-
that?
Sally, what's her?
Spangberg.
Oh, Sally's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she submitted. We weren't part of the application
Was
then,
there
but
another structure that was torn
And we
down on
don't
this
have that
property?
Yes,
here?
there was a boathouse.
There was a
Yeah,
boathouse
a former boathouse.
that was torn down on
That
this
was
property.
the board allowed to be taken down.
It was between the house and the barn.
That's correct, yeah.
But we spent a-
Right,
But we
right.
spent a lot of time in the barn
Correct.
finding
at
the
the
original wood,
rafters or
because
whatever.
it's in fact one of the oldest barns in Southampton.
So now what?
Okay,
Okay.
glad that you're not
So
tearing
where
it
are
down
we,
or
Well, I mean,
requesting
if you
it.
look at the pictures in the historical report, it was falling down in the 1980s. It was
Oh,
in
yeah.
really, really bad
Well, when we
shape.
walked through it, it was falling down, but a lot of
Yeah.
restoration work was done as part of this project.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's a current building permit, and that work is ongoing.
Okay.
We did want to update it a little bit, and we took inspiration from the report that Sally put together in 2022 to try to propose something that would be acceptable. I really think it's probably appropriate to have the architect walk you through those plans.
Yeah,
if-
we do
if
too.
there's,
So are we only looking at page A204?
I'm going to have the architect
Okay, great.
confirm that.
Great.
The other part of this application is that the house, which has a CO now, has sort of an awkward walkout in the basement, and they want to just fill that walkout in and extend the balcony above it outward. But again,
Is
it's
that
probably
the one that was a base, you walked down, there was like a lower level walk, like big walkout?
Yes.
Yes, I remember.
Like a basketball court
I remember
size.
this.
Remember this.
I remember this house.
How long ago was that?
was the
2022.
approval probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe?
I thought I wasn't on the board then.
The property had been in the same family for a long, long time, and then there was an in-between person between us and them.
He was.
Uh,
Okay, somebody's.
Oh,
got
Jeffrey's
his
on,
head
I can see
obscured.
Jeffrey,
There he
so.
is.
he's on.
Hi, everybody. Jeffrey Fine from Fine Architects. So I'm going to take you through a couple of the drawings that were part of the filing package. The first drawing that's up is the part of the approved ARB drawings from March of 2022. And what we're proposing for this is basically adding 2 windows on the south elevation, which is the elevation facing the street, facing the main house, and quite a distance from the street, and it's really not very visible from the street. And I'm going to sort of change the screen in a moment to show you the proposed elevations, but basically on the front facade, we're adding a matching 6-light window and a matching 2/2 double hung window over at this side. Then on the east facade, in this section, we're adding 3 folding glass doors, each with 6 lights, and the same 3 folding glass doors on the north facade in this corner. Let me switch to the next drawing. This is, again, just to give a little bit of, do we see this on the screen right now, or?
Yes, we do.
A4.
No, T002.
No, we see A4.
Okay, let me,
You have what you're looking at is what we're looking at, Jeffrey. It says A4 on the bottom right.
yeah, let me change the image again. Okay. So what we have here is the site plan. Wickapog Road is over here, south of the main part of the house. The barn is in the back of the house, and we'll get to the proposed porch extension after we go through the barn. So these are photographs of the existing condition of the barn. The south facade, the west facade, the north facade, and the east facade. Then I'm going to switch screens again. So now we're seeing the existing south facade as it is, and then the 2 proposed windows that are matching the windows, the 2 existing windows on the right side. The existing east facade with the proposed folding glass doors, 6 light glass doors on the east facade. The west facade doesn't change. And then the south facade, the east facade, the north facade, we're removing this window and adding 3 folding glass doors at that point, so that the corner of this house is opened up. And I'm going to take you into the floor plan in a moment to show you the reason why we're proposing this.
There were like 3 bays on the inside. There was another one. And the window here, that window was actually a hay bale.
The top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are 3 support structures in it. I want to go look at it.
Okay, so the barn interior is basically 2 levels. There's a double height space when you walk in. These are the doors the existing doors, or will be the existing doors that are in the front. We are adding one window on the lower level to match the window on the east side of the first floor. Going in, there's a staircase that goes up to the second level above the storage room, proposed bathroom changing room. And then there's a bridge that connects the east side of the upper level above the sitting room, which is a gym, and the second floor west side is a kind of yoga studio. So the structure is really a mixed-use building to serve both as a pool house, a changing room, storage for equipment, and a sort of a gym area and sitting area. The owner's daughter just got engaged, and they envision their future grandchildren playing in the space as well. Then the inside image is based on an image that was part of the historic report. This is an adaptive reuse barn that is currently in Sagaponack, and we took this as inspiration for what we want to do on the inside of our project. We're retaining the existing roof framing system with the existing lattice and sheathing, and putting in reclaimed collar ties that will be part of the roof structure. Here you could see sort of a similar type of door to what we're proposing to put into the corner of our project. And I'm just going to jump over to a couple of photographs of the existing inside of the barn. Which is over here, looking from the south facade into it. Most of this framing was done prior to our client purchasing the property 2 years ago. But if we kind of zoom in a little bit, we're retaining really the only real part of the existing barn structure that appears to be left, which is the roof construction and a couple of gunstock posts in the corners. But other than that, pretty much the framing was all new, because as John had noted earlier, the barn was in serious condition, and all of this work was done by the prior owner. So we have a couple of images looking from the street, looking off to the side, looking up into the roof again, and then another view as well. And I'm going to bring up interior elevation section that shows our proposed details. So this is a cross section, again, showing the existing sheathing and roof rafters. We're installing reclaimed 3x8 collar ties that our contractor is able to acquire. And then the lower part of the interior is going to be a shiplap board painted with sheetrock on the
We don't need
First
the
floor.
interior.
Oh, yeah, we don't care about,
need the interior.
we don't have.
You don't see this? I'm sorry.
We don't.
Let me-
The, okay, and take us through what you want to do with the lower level on the house?
Yeah. Sorry, do you see this? The barn now?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so, so again, we're showing the.
No.
Jeffrey,
I think what I want to see is on the main house, what you're proposing to
On
do
the
to
porch.
the sunken
Okay.
area.
Yeah. Let me get back to that.
So could they just fill it in?
Okay.
I didn't work on this before.
I think Jeff was on the board when we did this.
Yeah.
Sarah and I spent hours working this.
Okay, so the existing house, existing site plan, has a basement level courtyard that our client refers to as the bunker, and an existing one-story porch with a deck up above that's approximately 8.5 feet deep. We're proposing to infill the courtyard, bring it up to grade, and basically expand the covered porch from about 8.5 feet in depth to about 17 feet in depth, about double the size of it, and one can see it.
And what happens on the roof of that deck?
I'll show you that in a moment. There's a railing, existing railing that's going around, and there's a proposed new railing.
Is there access to it?
Yes, from the master bedroom.
Oh.
This is the existing porch. And it's also sort of asymmetric on the back facade. What we're proposing to do is extend it to the right side, and I'll bring that elevation up in a moment, and continue to put the railing around the perimeter of it. Okay. So this is the existing north elevation. And then this is our proposed north elevation, retaining the same detailing for the railing, the existing railing, and then using the same column detailing as well. And the detailing also matches the columns on the front of the house. The side elevation shows existing and then proposed. And you could see that same side elevation looking from the west, existing and proposed. So I think that kind of takes us through what we're looking to do.
Okay. I'm going to tell you from my perspective, I would like a site visit. I would like to see the barn, see its current situation, because that barn went through 6 months of work with this board, because it's one of the oldest existing outlying barns left in Southampton, and there are very specific rules and work we requested for that barn. So I'd actually like to come and see it, see what the condition is in. Because some of those openings that are there currently were chosen because there are original historic openings in that barn. But I think there was actually work done to the far left corner, I think was bumped out when they did it. So I would actually like to come on site and look at it to understand exactly what we're talking about, given the history of that barn in this village. As for the other, I'll leave it to the board members, that it looks like an awfully big balcony on the second floor. I would totally need to understand sight lines to the neighbors.
I don't even
Okay.
know. Why?
Well, I would like to add that the neighbor to the east has a very similar sized balcony on the second floor.
Okay.
that faces our client's sort of dressing room area.
Well, that may be. I would still like to understand the sight lines from that second floor balcony and what it means to the neighbors on both sides, and if there are neighbors to the rear before that's me before I go any further, but I'll ask the other board members.
Okay, yeah, I could actually pull up some photos of that.
I think
It doesn't matter, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
we understand.
Other board members?
Well, where is the report from before?
Must be in the file.
It's in the Dropbox, the 2022
is?
report from
Yeah.
Sally
So we
Spindler.
need to pull it and go through it. Yeah.
I can also print copies and
Could
make
you?
it available
Yeah.
for
I
the
hate
board.
the Dropbox.
We did try to follow it. Hopefully you agree when you read it. But but yeah,
And
it's
was
fine.
the whole, was it a rehabilitation of the original barn?
It was a
That was the plan.
Jeff, were you on the
Was it-
board then? It was the rehabilitation of that original board, a barn, and we worked on, What?
There's a significant amount of work.
comment?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's have some public comment.
Just say you were the
We just happen to have the
person.
I'm
expertise here.
Jeff Broadley, 166 Hall Street, former member of the board, chairman at the time that the barn was before us. I think Zach, and I think we maybe even had a,
No, it was Sally.
It was
was
Sally.
it Zach?
Yeah.
Sally.
Sally, okay,
Stand
yeah, that's
up.
right, because it was so historic, thank you. Go out and salvage whatever they could, keep it the way it was looking by keeping, in fact, I think there
there
were
was a
some
bunch of-
proposals at that time to
Okay.
maybe change the openings, and it was agreed that the openings wouldn't change. It would be all
There was a
original.
lot.
And I may have some of my facts wrong, but the fact that you folks want to look at it is something you should. The intent was to preserve it as a barn. At the
Okay.
same time, it's
Okay, so
your
you're-
call as
my
to
memory is
what's
not incorrect.
what's
Okay.
suitable going forward.
Okay, thank you.
And there had previously been a site visit. I personally been to this site with Peter DeWitt and Sarah Latham.
And me. Yeah, because we were there. Okay, so I would like to.
Hopefully not all three of you together.
No, we did it in two half-an-hour meetings. So I would like to request that we do a site visit to see that, and then while we're there, we can actually understand what the sightline issues would be from that, because there is a second floor balcony there. We can understand what the sightlines would look like to the other properties, so we would understand both of those things before I render a decision.
How do you arrange for those? Do we?
That
talked-
gentleman right
somebody
there.
You'll
talks
coordinate
to you.
through my office.
So you're gonna you'll contact
You
us?
you guys will contact the building department.
Okay.
They will work with us to figure out a time when some of the board members can come and look at it.
Great.
We'll schedule it and we'll show up, but we all won't show up at the same time because we're not allowed to, as Alice just alluded to.
It's a drag.
5-minute intervals.
Okay.
Glad someone got
So,
my joke other than
so
John.
I think, let's do this, let's adjourn this to the 26th and then work and see if we can get that done in time. In the meantime, you'll pull up the report that we can all see it?
Yes.
Okay.
While we have the plans up, can I ask that you pull up T002, that image that shows the barn east elevation?
What?
I wanted to take a look at the photo of the existing elevation of the barn.
Sure.
I think it's page 2 of 13.
Yeah, I have it here. Easy.
Is the
Because
air
they had stacked all
conditioner
they had stacked
on?
all this wood.
It's above my head.
It's cold air,
Next to it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It's not heat.
There was
it's
a
not
lot.
good.
Because I'm getting sick here.
Oh, sorry.
That was cold.
Sorry. People were complaining about the heat earlier. So in that image that shows the east elevation, that leftmost horizontal window, does that match the window as shown on the proposed plans? Because it looks like it has different dimensions to me. I know there was a very specific dimension for a bunch of their horizontal windows that are elsewhere on the property where all the panes are square. That to me looks like it's stretched out a little bit. I don't know if it's just the angle of the photo.
No.
Yeah. There is some distortion to the photo, but I'll have to take a look and see.
All right, so I think that's our way forward.
Okay. Yeah, it's late.
Okay, so any other public comment? Okay, then I'm going to motion to adjourn the application of 145 Wickapog Road to January 26th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you, we'll see you
Thank
on
you.
site. And with that, that concludes the meeting. Motion to adjourn the January 12th meeting of the Southampton Board of Architecture, Review and Historic Preservation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.